What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo! This week, it's the first of many, well, one we're definitely going to cover, and then another one, monkey movies, but it's the monkey spring. I guess it's not summer yet. And it is Godzilla X Kong. Is that what it's called? Something like that.
The X is silent. It's actually just Godzilla Kong.
Godzilla Kong. Okay.
Godzilla Kong. Godzilla Axe Kong.
Godzilla Axe Kong. That's right.
Godzilla
Frozen
Axe
Empire.
Kong, I guess. Yeah.
He fights the big monster from the Ghostbusters movie. It's another Empire one though, right? It's like something Empire.
Yeah, the new Empire.
The new Empire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Allegedly, this movie ushers in a new Empire. So they
Sure.
say. Yeah, right.
I would say like the first Godzilla movie kind of did that.
You'd think, right?
Way more than this, yeah.
It almost seems like this movie starts off as a new Empire,
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember.
Every time these movies start off, it's like they're the first in a trilogy, you know?
Yeah.
Like they set up this world that like is brand new. Brand new set of characters, brand new rules, brand new technology. Various levels of like who knows about what things, and then
Right. What are the conspiracies? Who are the monsters? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. How ready are we to deal with the monster? Like what, do we have planes and bombs and stuff? And also they forgot all the bombs and stuff from the last movie.
Oh God.
They love doing that. That'd be really funny if they gave the thing from last movie a shot in this movie though. They were like, let's see if we can get that robot doing it again. That was pretty good last time, right? Almost killed everybody. And put a piece of a good mutant's brain in it instead of the evil mutant, right? Because that was what they did.
Yeah, there's a
Like
bad
Ghidorah's
mutant, they put in
brain.
Mechagodzilla, and then that's why Godzilla. I mean, we could talk about it. There were so many things I couldn't remember from the last movie, why they happened. I just remember that they did happen.
Yeah.
Also, this movie had to reference them 30 times to assure you, no, trust us. There was another movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first one you're seeing.
And we're going to talk about it. But before that, news, you guys. You all know and love Pink Floyd, the band Pink Floyd.
Obviously.
You love them.
Obviously, they
You
did
be
the
keeping
wall.
You be keeping up with your Pink Floyd news this week?
Yeah, they. I haven't. No. I get most of my Pink Floyd news from my favorite Nostalgia Critic review.
Oh no!
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Doug?
that'll
Let's
work
say
up
Doug.
until a certain point, and then you're missing a lot of the new stuff. You should put out another one. Well, I don't know if you guys saw this week, but Pink Floyd did like a little. Couldn't even explain this to me. Like a contest for some animation thing, and the winner was AI, and everyone complained. Fun.
Oh no!
Yeah, I
not
like
AI.
that. AI. It was weird too. It's like a weird guitar thing or something. And they picked it. They said it was a winning video.
Can I be real with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not know they were still alive.
I mean,
At least one of them is.
yeah. I mean, well, that's maybe or maybe not.
I
Maybe
guess.
someone has the Twitter
Maybe
account.
the contest was started by AI also.
Mm-hmm. Well, my question here was like, so they definitely don't know this existed anyway. Like, there's no way the members of Pink Floyd are like, hey, check up on that animation contest on Twitter. Do you think someone explained this to them, like the fallout from it or something? And then how do you think that's possible?
There's no way they understood it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think they'd even understand the Twitter and like the contests on Twitter. But then why everybody's mad about it? I just cannot imagine they would understand.
I think that people knew that 2024 would be a big year for AI. Like, I think that's a lot of things that people are saying coming into the year. But like, I don't think you would have guessed like AI is going to ruin things like Willy Wonka, Pink Floyd. I'm sure there's a third thing that you wouldn't expect that was ruined by this. But I think it's cool we're getting like avenues that we didn't expect. Like, people are like, oh, watch out for the election with AI. But I think it's really like, watch out that you don't send your kids to a warehouse for the Willy Wonka experience.
Speaking of the Willy Wonka experience, I don't know if anybody, you guys saw this. Somebody sent me that there was a Willy McDuff themed drag show in Brooklyn, I think, that I did not go to, but
was
the unknown a character? Please tell me there was the unknown.
Sure.
I'm sure, yeah. Like, I'm not surprised by this news in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm upset I'm learning about it now because I would have gone.
Yeah, it may not have happened yet. I just know it. Someone sent me like a flyer that it was a thing, and
if it's happening, I'm going with signs like "I love the unknown." Like, I'm gonna have T-shirts. Like, I'm going full unknown stand.
How existential of you, DJ?
Yeah, I feel like they should, if that's the case, they're all dressed as the people, because we've seen like, videos and pictures and stuff. Everyone that goes should dress and act like one of the parents, do a Scottish accent and just talk about how upset you were, how much money you paid for this.
You've really upset me, wee bairn.
Yeah. Would throw 40 miles. All right. You know what?
No, that wasn't bad. No.
They probably wouldn't say miles, though. I think that's almost definitely out of the question.
Yeah, that's the giveaway.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that is a fun thing that the AI ruined or kind of was awesome about this year. Honestly, I think I could look back and that might be my favorite individual thing of the year. It's the Willie McDuff experience.
It was a magical moment.
It was great.
We all experienced such joy.
Mm-hmm.
But then it is slightly ruined for me that the fact that there are still a bunch of like very big companies who are firing people because they're like, we could just use this to do all our shit now.
Yeah,
that is bad. That is bad.
But will it backfire in the same way that did for Willie McDuff guy and ruin his life or something?
We can only hope. Do you think we'll get replaced by AI?
I mean, I'm sure we could be. The question is like, can AI, like, would AI even know to like switch topics to what we're about to talk about for like 5 minutes? You would never get this in AI.
I mean, we have provided hours upon hours of training material. Although I read a thing recently that's like, they've kind of realized that for AI to improve, they need like thousands, if not millions of more data than actually exists to just train it on. So like, it's not going to get substantially better for a long time.
Oh man. So we're stuck with this level of quality for a while.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
It's a little bit unfortunate. But you know what? It's maybe because I don't want good Willie McDuffs. There's no fun in that. But if a bad one of those pops up every so often, that'd be pretty cool.
See. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But you guys, speaking of people named,
you can do it. I believe in you.
I don't know. I was hoping there would be like a guy in this named like Unknown or something, but there's no wrestler named any of the things from Willie McDuff. No Willie, along McDuff, and no Oompa Loompa. So either way, they made a Slammies. The Slammies were this week, DJ.
The Slammies.
Nando, hold on. There was an easy. If you're willing to use Oompa Loompas, then speaking of questionable racial caricatures, wrestling.
That doesn't have any of those anymore. They're all good now, except for
all on the up and up.
There's probably a weird one still kicking around. Honestly, if we're talking about questionable characters, the Americans are weird. We were talking about this yesterday. Ugh. Like, they're the good guys, but they're all Homelander. It doesn't make any sense.
So Nando came over to watch some. We're recording this the day after night 1 of WrestleMania. So we had a bunch of people over. Nando came over, and Cody Rhodes, who was wrestling in the main event against The Rock and Roman Reigns. I'm like, that's the good guy, because I have to decode wrestling for my non-wrestling fans who come to watch. And but he comes out literally dressed like Homelander, and like, it's not an homage to Homelander. He just looks like this, and no one believed me that he's the good guy. Just no one that this white savior is like. I'm like, he's the good one, and
big
no one,
giant American flag neck tattoo, and like the most annoying like intro ever.
Google Cody Rhodes like wrestling, and you need a photo of him in his like get up, and tell me if you think like, oh, he's supposed to be one of the villains.
Yeah. If he was in like a Rocky thing, he would be a bad guy.
Wow, look at this guy. He's the villain from an 80s movie.
Yeah.
An American guy? No,
he's going to beat up the Karate Kid or something.
I was going to say, this guy tried to kill the Karate Kid. Definitely.
And then the other guy that was on his team is named Seth Rollins, formerly of the Captain America movie that he probably got cut out of because of rewrites or something. And he came in dressed like he was going to the Met Gala and acting really weird. But like, again, I forget who I was talking with. I think it was Frank. I was like, there's a difference between like having a character and then just doing a lot. And this one's doing a lot. But those guys were the good guys. And then The Rock came in and he did The Rock stuff. And then the other guy just came in and kind of waved at everybody. It was like, yeah, I guess they're, different than the other two guys, but there's nothing objectively worse about them so far. Like, doesn't even compare to the old villains of the past. But apparently they're the villains.
The Iron Sheik.
The Iron Sheik, Rikishi. I don't know.
Questionable.
Speaking of questionable racial caricatures, like I'm trying to think of who else. Like who's a bad guy in wrestling back in the day? Kane. Like guys from hell. Like where their story was they knew the devil and stuff. Like these guys are just like guys that are annoying. And if you met them outside, you'd be like, ugh, I don't need to. Let's go to a different corner of the party.
The $1 Million Man, a rich guy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They would just take anything. What's that name of that guy who was a cowboy? He was also a rich guy, but he was different than the other ones. He would come in like a limousine.
Diamond Dallas Page.
I don't think it's that, but it's something like that. It's okay. He's after Diamond Dallas Page, I think. I want to say his name is like Bradshaw or something like that. But like,
I know who you're talking about.
It's gonna drive me crazy. But like even him was just this very simple, like, I'm an oil man. I got money and here's my cowboy hat.
JBL.
Yes, that's who it was. Yeah.
JBL. Yeah.
And then the good guys were just kind of nothing. Like they were just a guy in pants. And you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that guy's good.
Shawn Michaels, right?
Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, Edge, all those guys, Jericho, right? Anyway, we had a lot of slammies for this year. I don't know who some of these people are, so we're gonna skip them. But I'm gonna ask DJ if you want to take a guess at who won individual slammies. And Diggins, you can take guesses too. Some of these will be people you'll probably recognize. Yeah, some of them probably won't. So DJ, real quick, male superstar of the year, who is that?
Had to be Roman Reigns.
Nope, Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
There you go. Off to a great start. Female superstar of the year?
Rhea Ripley.
Yes, that's correct. I don't know who that is.
Okay. She's Australian. She's cool. She's like her whole thing is like she's scary. That's like literally like her whole thing.
She did the interview first after the thing, right? Yeah, I remember her.
Her whole thing is like she's scary. She's scary in Australia.
She's a mama, right, or something. That was part of her bit.
Mommy is her nickname.
Yeah. I know. It's weird.
What?
She says it a lot.
Yeah. Her boyfriend is Rey Mysterio's son, Dirty Dom Mysterio.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say is Rey Mysterio's son, Daddy.
Yeah.
Nah, he's Dirty Dom.
Wait,
Dirty Dom.
Wait, Rey Mysterio's son, the one that they had that ladder match for the custody of at one time?
Yeah.
He had a big match last night. I don't think that's gonna get covered in here, where he had some friends show up.
Oh yeah. So Jason Kelsey came and helped out
from football because it was in Philadelphia. Yeah.
Excuse you. He's from dating Taylor Swift.
Well, that's the other
this
one.
Is Jason
that's his brother. This is the one who was kind of in pictures sometimes with them. But although it's crazy now that I think about it, that they didn't have the Sunny guys show up and do their little Birdman routine.
Oh yeah, that would be.
They've
great.
Done many WWE.
Maybe tonight. There's still a chance.
Also, they probably have an episode. They would have an episode about how like Vince McMahon is a sex trafficker or something. Like they would make that part of their bit. After the Willie McDuff episode, was
part of it,
right? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they already did. Didn't they do an episode where he was on the Epstein Island?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I kind of remember that, but I don't remember what the specifics of it were. If he was just on the flight logs but never went to the island or something, there was something like that.
I think I saw a clip from this, and it's like he was on the island. He didn't do or see anything. He was just like in the pool.
That sounds right.
But
yeah,
he was there.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of people that were there, best entrance, DJ. Could be any of them.
Is it Seth Rollins's?
Nope, Cody Rhodes again.
I can't. Oh my god, I hate this so much. He's gonna win. This podcast already came out after it happened, so like people know. But I'm just so mad that there's just so much Cody heat. It frustrates me.
You're the only one. Everyone wants him to win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever. I'm a smart wrestling fan. Then
everyone else loves America. DJ, why do you hate America?
That's true. I do hate America.
You know what? To be fair, though, when they announce everybody, they like say things about them. They're like, this person is this many pounds and they're from here and this is their name. And he's from America. He's from America. Both The Rock and not Seth Rollins. Who's the other one? Roman Reigns, born in Florida? Question mark? America? Maybe, but not really. That was like a very specific part of America. Are we going to give Florida this victory? How about rivalry of the year, DJ?
Is it the Usos, like the Jimmy and Jay Uso brothers?
No, it's from Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Those two guys. They're the whole thing.
So the answer is Cody Rhodes. The Slammy
Sometimes
goes
it is,
to like
sometimes
it
it
has
is,
to
yeah.
be Cody Rhodes. I feel like I'm giving like some good smart wrestling answers, but you know they're just like nope, boring. We're just gonna be boring. That's the rule.
How about Return of the Year?
Oh, The Rock. That's easy.
No, CM Punk. Yep.
What is going on?
The Green Book of Slammies.
What is going on?
Everyone's favorite, CM
CM
Punk.
Punk.
What? Over The Rock?
Over the Rock.
What is going on?
How about this? Match of the Year.
Match of the Year.
I'll give you a hint. It was at WrestleMania 39.
Oh my God. Was it Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes?
Nope. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley.
That was a good match. Well, see, now I'm thrown off because I'm like, oh, I have to say the Cody Rhodes one.
Exactly.
He's all
You'll
of
never
them.
know.
Or the
How about-
CM Punk one.
Or, God.
How about this? Breakout Superstar of the Year. This is one that has not yet been named, so give you a clue.
Breakout Superstar of the Year.
Yep.
Okay, so I like want to ask questions. I'm like, are they in NXT? Because like this isn't my guess. I want to say like Braun Breaker. He came out for Royal Rumble and he's been like huge in NXT, or Carmelo Hayes, but I think they're gonna go with the main roster guy. Is it so? Breakout Superstar of the Year.
Breakout Superstar of the Year. That's right.
I'm gonna guess. This is wrong, but I could see them going in this. Is it Austin Theory?
It is not. I'll say this too. This person also won WWE Fan Chant of the Year. I don't know how they decide this, but this person apparently has a very popular chant.
Who
the
is
fans
it?
love it.
Oh,
the
wait,
LA Knight.
LA. Oh,
the LA Knight.
Damn, that's a good. He wasn't omnipresent in my mind, but yeah, the chant is literally he goes, "Are you ready to see?" And the crowd goes, "LA Knight." That is like the fan chant.
Well, is that
Pretty
is
easy.
that Knight with or without a K?
With
K.
a K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Batman. How about this? Breakout Super. No, sorry, did that. OMG Moment of the Year.
So I love that that's an award.
And it's not when the founder of the company got brought up on several counts of sex trafficking. Even though
if they weren't cowards.
Yeah,
that's
that
what
would
they
definitely be
would've
the
picked.
OMG moment of the year as far as I'm concerned. And then the next day when they all just showed up and didn't talk about it, also the OMG moment of the
Actually,
year.
no, you know what? It's not the OMG moment because that news came out and everyone was pretty much
That's
like,
true.
"This
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
I have no sense for this shit anymore, but I guess I have to go with Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble.
Now CM Punk returns to WWE.
I fucking
so
I-
he even won like Return of the Year again. He won twice.
I don't understand.
All right, there's three more. How about
Okay.
Trash Talker of the Year? This seems like it would be a very important thing in wrestling.
Give it to The Rock. Did they give
It
to
is The Rock. That's
Nice.
correct.
Yeah. He told all those people to go home and smoke crack and have sex with their wives who are their sisters. I
Yeah.
feel like that's good.
And how about this? The Rizzy winner. Assuming the Rizzy is about who has the most
Who
Riz.
has the most Riz?
Yep.
Oh my God, is it R-Truth?
Nope, Seth Rollins.
Ugh.
He's got a whole lot of
That doesn't track for
something.
me. You saw him
I-
last night
I
come
did
out with
see
this
him.
weird
He's a weirdo.
outfit.
He's got a weird little Met Gala
Riz.
outfit. I don't like him.
I would love to find out that the Rizzy Award has existed for the past like 15 years.
Yeah, this is what it's
Like,
named
and
for.
we actually have no idea what it means.
Mhm. It's based after like it's like Rizzo the Rat or something from the Muppets died, and they named the award after him, and it's the smallest wrestler or something, and no one knows that that's what it is. How about Villain of the Year? This is the last one, DJ, and then we'll move on to
Villain of the Year.
a
All right.
movie about villains.
This one has to be Roman Reigns, right?
It is not. I'll give you a whole nother guess. Somebody we haven't even mentioned yet, I don't think.
A villain we haven't
Vince
mentioned.
McMahon.
No, yeah, the FBI. The G-men at the government.
Villain of the Year, someone
Villain
we
of the
haven't
year.
mentioned.
Yep.
Okay. I think no, because I was gonna say the Miz, but he's not doing a villain thing right now. Because they like giving him awards so we can talk about how he won Villain of the Year.
Oh, that is helpful.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Is it Dominic Mysterio?
It is Dominic Mysterio.
Dirty
Dirty
Dom.
Dominic Mysterio.
Dirty
Yeah.
Dom. Here we
So-
go.
I mean, I feel like if my dad put up my custody papers for a ladder match, I would also become a villain.
Diggins, I don't know how to tell you this.
Oh no!
You're about to become a villain. Yeah, you were so young you've forgotten about it, but there was a custody match for custody of you. Rey Mysterio almost won. You were almost the next Rey Mysterio child, but your actual father came out of nowhere and took the ladder away, and then you got given back to him. So you could probably show up at WrestleMania and be part of it now. You're very important, you know.
This must be a tough way to learn about this, though.
Yeah, guys, I'm reeling.
Kind of figured your parents put you down and like say this is what happened, just in case anybody ever mentions the most exciting thing that's ever happened in the history of like your life to you. But you know, maybe they thought it would come up. You made it this far, so can't be that important.
I guess not.
Speaking of things that made it this far, we got to talk about Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. You guys,
it did make it this far.
They made it this far. You know what? This is like a cinematic universe now. I honestly wouldn't have even called it that until maybe this one, because it's like gonna keep going. It seems to have momentum. Made money, probably. I think seems like, and like they've made like 6 of them. So it's a whole thing. It's crazy how many of these there've been, considering I can't remember anything's happened in any of them.
They won't stop no matter how much we beg.
Yeah, please
stop.
Is this a good year for Godzilla? Are we in like Godzilla golden era or something?
It's tough because the quality of Godzilla's vary so high. Or like the variance between the quality is so high is what I mean.
They're definitely, I think we are getting like, I think it's positive that we're getting still variance in the type of Godzilla, because on the one hand, here we've got like Godzilla -1 is like serious, like dark Godzilla movie, which has always been, I mean, the first movie was like that, so you know that's always been a part of the Godzilla DNA. And then over here in the Godzilla Kong universe, we've got Godzilla Friend to Children, which is also like a very long-standing part of the Godzilla DNA. So like I kind of like that we're getting both of it.
It's interesting because you can kind of look back to the beginning of this run too, as like 2014 Godzilla comes out, and then Shin Godzilla 2 years later as like 2 also very different kinds of like takes on Godzilla. And then they like switched places, where this one was the more kind of experimental out there one, and then the Godzilla -1 went for the more serious grounded one, which is fascinating. It's also a bummer that they don't let you put them in the movies at the same time. You can't do a Godzilla double feature, you know?
Yeah.
Is that a rule?
It is a rule.
It is a legal thing, yeah.
And it's why you can't see Godzilla -1 like at home, even though it came out like 6 months ago or something. It's because you can't release this new movie in like there's a window or something that have to clear. Okay. Yeah. Still haven't seen -1 for good things, but wait for it to come to my house, and it has not. But you know, it is at my house. The summary for this movie, which they give you on imdb.com. It is. And where we get this, I mean, there's so many different places where we could get the summary for Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. And only Godzilla x Kong: New Empire. Basically what happens is a bunch of screenwriters, you know, they write these movies and then they put them into a little bubble. They put them in a little glass sphere thing, and then they electrocute that with energy, and that sends waves and pulses out into the universe. And then out from space come big monster things that will land on an island uninhabited and then scratch out with their little feet the words of something, and then that will be the summary for a movie. And the name of that movie will be whatever that monster looks like. So we'll look at that monster and say like Annabelle the Creation, and then they'll go like, okay, and then that's what the thing for Annabelle the Creation is for. Yeah, so they do that constantly. It's like all those little islands in the middle of the Pacific that like one person lives on. So it does tend to like displace some people, but sometimes the people like the monsters and they're cool. And sometimes the monsters just leave, you know, they're like, I think this was probably all I had to do. I don't really like it here. I'm going to go back to space. And they did it for this one. I'll tell you, it's okay. You know, the monster, whatever it was, the IMDb summary monster did a fine little job. Yeah, I wouldn't say, I don't know. It's okay. I'd be surprised. I'm not surprised that this is the summary, but like, it's a summary. No, I don't know. Who goes first?
Okay. Well, so I lost again, even though I won the game last week. So
because you don't fight for yourself, apparently, according to the Discord.
Everyone
you need to believe in yourself.
Yeah, I was very proud of me. Everyone's proud of me, so that's something, I guess. Well, I'm gonna make Diggins go first for this and pray we don't go to a tiebreaker.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I would have to assume we do a different tiebreaker since there's like barely anyone in this movie.
I have a tiebreaker for this that's quite built out, and
good.
We're doing it no matter what. But I don't. I'd be curious if one of you does way better at this. I'll give you a huge advantage or something somehow.
This is such
right.
okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. When a mysterious signal is found coming from the hollow earth, a team must journey into the unknown depths to help Kong and Godzilla face down an ancient foe.
Okay, DJ.
Really bad. That's definitely not it.
All right. I think I feel okay. Okay. The Titans, Godzilla, and King Kong must work together to fight back against against a foe using an ancient evil to save both the surface world and the hollow earth.
Okay, so neither of you got it. I do think
for legal reasons they can't call him King Kong.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Well, yeah, it depends because the director said he hasn't earned King yet or something. Like that's the in-universe explanation for why they don't call him King Kong.
They've never called him King Kong. Oh boy.
No,
never.
And then done any of the King Kong stuff. Never climbed the Empire State Building. It would make sense. It's bigger than the Empire State Building.
I was gonna say you can't climb.
Yeah.
They've made allusions where it's like here Kong is king, or like Kong. That's Kong. He's king around here. I think that's what John C. Reilly says.
And this new guy is the Skull King, right, or something?
Right.
Or is he
Scar King.
Scar King. Yeah. So they have kings. He's not one of them yet, or something.
All right.
It's interesting, but also, I think I'd maybe undersold this as kind of a weird summary, because I had to check because I read this summary and I was like, yeah, that's what happened. And then I had to check afterwards and make sure this wasn't also the summary for the last one of these, because it seems like it is, but it's not. This is the summary for the one that it is. Godzilla is pink on the poster. So I know this is not the old one.
Yes, that's...
I'm going to read you it. Two ancient titans, Godzilla and Kong. So already DJ was off to an amazing start. But then, clash in an epic battle as humans unravel their intertwined origins and connections to Skull Island mysteries. Yeah, I know. That's not what this movie was.
No, that's the last movie.
That's the last one. And then I read the last one. Here's the last one. The epic next chapter in the cinematic Monsterverse pits two of the greatest icons in motion picture history against each other, the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance.
I remember hating that summary.
But like, it's so weird that they did that with this one, even though, it was pretty clear they weren't fighting. I don't know. Is that what they thought we were supposed to take from X in the title? It's like they're fighting again.
Well, when you put X in something, we're like, oh no, it's bad now.
Yeah,
it's Twitter and then it's X.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. X-Men Origins of Wolverine. That was also not good.
Yeah.
When was the last time a movie did X like this? Fast X Furious or something? Did they do that?
They
just did Fast X.
They just did Fast X.
Yeah, they haven't
which was terrible.
That was bad, yeah. Has the movie ever done this before? There must have been.
Like Jason X Freddy, was that a thing?
Oh yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure. No, that sounds like
something. Just Jason versus Freddy, the final nightmare.
Yes, I'm got confused with Jason X, the one where Jason is like one of the rebooty ones. Yeah.
It's kind of a Japanese thing. Like there's anime that does this, like Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think maybe
Spy
that's
Family
where...
is Spy X.
Spy X Family. Yeah. And that's not even like two guys fighting or whatever. That's just two words with an X in the middle of them,
That's true. That is what that is.
But
so I think that's where this comes from.
Interesting. Well, we're moving on to a tiebreaker.
No.
This tiebreaker is going to be fun. I think this is very even. I'm going to get my paper out so I can write things down as we go. Because I want to have a list. Not that complicated, and then I'm bad memory. I might forget. So this is kind of two tiebreakers put together. Someone on the Discord suggested doing a tiebreaker where we just have you guys or whoever is involved, name actors from these movies. Just take a shot at remembering any of the actors in any of these movies, because there's been so many of them. People just pop in and out and just going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Doesn't have to be in any specific order.
Do I get to veto it or something? Like, am I allowed to say no?
So then, but that's not the whole thing. That's not the whole thing. The second part of it is, this is what I thought would be kind of interesting. This is how I thought about certain parts of some of these movies. Is I think this is a cinematic universe. It's called the Monsterverse, according to that one summary that just had the word cinematic Monsterverse in it. Which is funny because this is the Monsterverse, but the Dark Universe was something else. But that's more the monster. You would assume that would be the one that's called the Monsterverse, but it's not, is it?
Well, maybe if they'd gotten there first.
Yeah, they should have
cornered the market on Monsterverses.
This isn't Godzilla. This is Godzilla's monster, actually. So you can't call it that. It's bullshit. But one thing I always think is so interesting about this franchise is how many actors this franchise, this cinematic universe, shares with another cinematic universe. There are so many actors here pulling double duty in the MCU that I want you to give me an MCU character. So you don't have to tell me what their name is in this or anything, but someone in the Monsterverse that is in the MCU as whatever their MCU guy is. So for instance, there's several of them in this, and I'll take ones that are kind of side guys. If you want to get really creative and say, if Tobey Maguire was in one of these, I'd be like, yeah, sure, he counts too, or whatever. Or if Dylan Baker was in one of these, he'd be like the Lizard from the Spider-Man. Yeah, I'll take that. But yeah, I just want you guys to go any of these Monsterverse properties. I'll be, and if you say one that's like wrong or a little weird, we'll give you time to correct it. But I want to see how many you guys can get, because I did a little Google of this. There's so many.
How deep does the Monsterverse go? Like, how many?
It starts with Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, that's the first one of these.
All right.
And then Kong, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla Kong.
Perhaps. So,
does the TV show count?
Maybe it does. Who knows? DJ, do you want to go first or second?
I mean, I want to go first, but I'm going to lose it. I'm upset that I'm going to lose.
I think you'll do okay. Just remember who's in these movies and some of the
just
Marvel
use your
people.
Human memory to remember things.
I think you can do this because you don't need to remember anything besides who the actors were and then kind of connect that.
If I had to remember their names, I'd be cooked.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm gonna lose. I just want to put that in front of it. It's cool. I'm gonna lose.
I think you have a great shot at this. I think this is very even. I also think part of it is
DJ, I think the reason you lose so much is you have a defeatist attitude.
I think the way to play this game would almost be to pick an actor and just figure out which Marvel thing they were in, because they were almost all in something.
All right, well,
you can brute force some Marvel characters out of here.
But I thought it was allowed to just say an actor in one of these. Is that an option?
Well, but then that's the one who say which Marvel guy they were.
So I'd say the actor and then the Marvel guy?
Yeah.
There's...
for instance,
I feel like telling you to remember the Marvel name is easier than the other version of this.
Okay. All right.
Try one and we'll see if you got it right. Quicksilver, that's correct.
Well, what's the actor's name?
I don't have to say it.
Yeah, I'll take Quicksilver. That's fine. Although, to be fair, you should tell me the actor's name for Quicksilver specifically.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Okay, cool. Because he's a guy that doubles up. Diggins.
Well, going in chronological order, then I guess I'll say Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen.
That's right. Which you do not have to go in chronological order, but
what was she in?
She was Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife in the first one.
She's his wife.
That's right.
It's so funny because it came out at the same time as the other movie where they were siblings. And in the comics, sometimes the siblings do incest. And then it's like, they did that. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, depending how big a creepazoid the person writing it is.
Yeah, and as we know, a lot of big creepazoids in the comic writing space, so never too hard to find an incestuous relationship between those two. DJ, who's next?
Well, I'm out. I don't have...
It doesn't have to be chronological. Anyone.
I can't remember if Bryan Cranston was in an MCU.
Well, it could be from any of these movies, including the one you just watched.
I got I'm like, Nick Fury, right? Nick Fury's in because Sam Jackson's
That's
in
true.
one
Nick
of the
Fury
Kongs,
is
correct?
he is in Kong Skull Island. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that always reminds me of this, is because almost every actor in there is in the MCU somewhere. He had
Yeah.
the line. Do you remember his wonderful line that we liked so much in that movie?
What was his wonderful line?
Talk about Pennsylvania Steel or something.
Oh,
Talking
that's
about like the
right.
helicopters.
The helicopters.
Yeah,
Yep.
he loved the helicopters.
Yep.
Well, again, going with the same movie DJ said, obviously Loki is in that
Yep.
one.
Loki is in that.
One.
That was his first like, hey, is this guy an action star role? And everybody was like, kind of.
Yeah.
But maybe not exclusively.
All right. So, okay. Do I have to give the name of the character in the MCU?
It would help, but I'll be generous depending on the character.
So, like, guy in Nova Corps in Guardians of the Galaxy, John C. Riley.
Do you want to take a guess at this character's name?
Fucking A. I like Tarvis. I don't know.
It's not Tarvis. That'd be cool. No,
Jonathan. I don't know.
I'll count it because I'm sure in his name, Diggins. You know this character's name?
I want to say it's like Richard something.
Nah, it's like more alien than that. His name is Ronan Day is this character's name. He is the main Nova
Ronin.
Corps guy. Yeah, that's right. He's not Ronan. That's a different guy. It's weird that there's two of them in that movie. But yeah, so that's correct. What's that actor's name? John C. Riley is in the in that one. Diggins.
Sticking still with the same movie DJ said, can't believe he didn't go for Captain Marvel before
Captain
that.
Marvel is also in that movie. That's right.
She is?
Yeah, she's like the photographer, I think. War photographer who they bring with them.
Guys, I can't emphasize how much I don't remember movies or things.
Again,
like,
you can do one from the movie you just watched. Like, plenty of them were in the movie you just watched.
Were they though?
Yeah.
Were they though?
At least 2 or 3.
Again, I said this at the beginning. It's cool that I've been like set up to fail because I mean,
see. DJ, you have accepted in your heart that you have lost, and that is the moment that you lose.
I mean, if Rebecca Hall is a thing in an MCU, I have no idea what she is.
Oh, maybe she is. Maybe she is.
If like Rebecca Hall is like third alien in Age of Ultron or like doctor assistant, like
I don't think there's any aliens in Age of Ultron at all.
I mean, is Thor an alien? You know,
Yeah,
like sometimes
right.
they're aliens. Can someone from South Africa be considered a person from planet Earth?
I feel like I should be allowed to protest this one because I really do feel like because we have a theme. It's like DJ's not good at these.
I mean, but I don't think that. I feel like you should be better at this than you are. There's some pretty easy ones.
All you have to do is remember the names of Marvel characters.
Yeah, honestly, you could take a guess at a Marvel character probably and just shot in the dark. Maybe that guy's in one of these. Plenty of guys
so
are.
You would blind guess a Marvel character and be like,
I mean, if you're out of guesses,
they were in one of these Monsterverses.
If you're out of options, it's better than nothing. But
I mean, I was just set up to fail. This is crazy that we have to keep doing
this. This is DJ.
I will never win another tiebreaker. No, I can because literally it's like, well, DJ's not good at these tiebreakers. And how's this? It's not even that I'm not good at them. Of the three of us, I'm the worst one. I mean, and it's like by a lot, right? If it's like it's the Lakers, it's like Diggins and Nando, you guys are some combination of LeBron and Anthony Davis. I won't say which one. And like I'm like Austin Rivers. I'm way down.
DJ, I'll be honest with you. I don't got a lot left. If you got
I don't have any.
If you got like one more, you might win.
There's like 6 or 7 that are really obvious and untouched. Both characters everybody knows the name of and actors that are at the front of the movie that they're in or show them.
So the movies were Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla v Kong, Godzilla X. There's 4 movies.
Well, there's another one actually.
What other movie?
Maybe Godzilla King of the Monsters. That one comes between. That's the one with King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
That one comes between Godzilla v Kong and Kong Skull Island.
Is that even a movie I watched?
And there might even be something else, but for most of it, it's those things. And and Godzilla King of the Monsters also has like a different cast. A lot of like actors show up just in that one and then disappear forever. But
I mean, I
enough.
guess I have nothing left, so I guess I'll throw out a Marvel character. Maria Hill, Colby Smulders is in a lot of stuff.
Ooh,
Hopefully,
I don't
she's
know.
in one of these.
Let's see. I don't think so.
Oh well,
But we're gonna check. We're gonna Google it.
is this the only tiebreaker you had? One you knew I would be
I
bad
thought this
at?
was a good
Let me
tiebreaker.
win one
Yeah.
of these weeks.
It's a pretty good
I
tiebreaker.
DJ, you have such a victim complex. You got a victim
Mm.
mindset.
No.
You
Yeah.
think we do this because to victimize you, but
Give
we just
me
think
any
it'll
other
be fun.
in the history of OC nitpicking. Like I'm on like a 5-week losing streak. I want the Discord to pop off.
I mean, listen,
This is crazy.
when we're done with this round, potentially, we will go over some of them and you will hit your head with your hand and go, oh, obviously him.
I mean, I got a couple.
But
I mean,
as of looking after it right now, I haven't seen Boss Baby Back in the Crib, but assuming that's not in the Monsterverse, pretty much all she does is Marvel stuff. I mean, she used to do it. She died in Secret Invasion in a really silly way, but so she probably won't do too much anymore.
Oh, that's
but
a shame.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever been in a Monsterverse property. Although, you know, maybe in the future she's got a bright future ahead of her.
This is insane.
Diggins, for the win, would you like to say one?
For the win.
Can I say
For
two?
the win.
You could say 5. Give me as many as you can.
Let me say another one at least. Let me try a blind guess in the dark. With,
I mean, well, Diggins goes first, his guess, but a real guess. Then you can try a crazy, out of left field guess.
Here, I'll say one that you were never going to get, just to
That's
give
fair.
you more of a thing.
That's
like
fair.
more of a chance.
Okay.
Brian Tyree Henry is Festus in the
Yeah.
Eternals.
Jesus Christ.
I will. Okay, hold on a second. I don't think I can count that.
Why not?
Oh, what loophole is this?
It's the same loophole that we caught DJ on for Pacific Rim. Say his name one more time, Diggins.
Is it Fastus?
It's close, but not quite right.
Hooray!
DJ, do you
right.
know his name?
I mean, I'll go with like Faustus.
No, that's also not it. It's Fastos.
Oh, Fastos.
Very
okay.
specifically ends with an os.
Okay.
How about do you have any other ideas, DJ? Any other?
Oh well, I guess
Shots
it's
in
back
the
to
dark?
me since
Yeah.
Diggins punted.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Said the name wrong. It's fair.
Yep. You gotta remember all the Eternals. I,
I
don't think any
know-
other Eternals show up in these.
I have to go with like because he's in a lot of stuff. I get it. Is our boy Kingo? Is
Camille Nanjiani.
is Camille Nanjiani one
Not
of these?
that I know of.
See an extra in one of these.
Maybe he's an extra, but this is probably what he was busy working out for Eternals, so he did have
Probably
extra
Kingo,
time,
yeah.
so he could wear that shirt. He can't see his
All right.
muscles in.
Put me in the grave, I guess, Diggins.
All
Because
right,
I assume you
Diggins.
have ones that you
Take
know.
another
What
shot.
was the name
I
on?
have another one. Kurt Russell's in that show, and he's Ego, the Living Planet.
Kurt Russell is Ego, the Living Planet, in
What
that
is he
show.
In these?
So in the show, whatever the heck it's called, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, he plays a guy.
We're doing this.
I was
said
very
at the
coy about
beginning,
whether the show
does
counted.
the show count? And Nando said yes.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
too busy panicking trying to figure out all these names.
Well,
Oh my
DJ, then do you
God.
have any other guesses from the show that might be in the show?
Other
You didn't
guesses
watch
from
the
the
show,
show?
did you?
No. Yeah, that's a bad.
Anything about the marketing of the show that may lead you to another MCU character? Anything specific about the one thing they used to sell the show? No? Oh my goodness, TJ. All right. Well, TJ, I'm going to count that as the loss. Diggins, you want to maybe
This
name
is
a couple others that I think you can get pretty
crazy.
easily?
Who
Starting
is
with-
Rebecca Hall in the MCU?
She's Dr. Maya Hansen from Iron Man 3. She's the Mandarin's assistant who
Oh,
Tony had sex
Jesus.
with back in the year 2000. Blue Abadida
God.
I
Badai.
mean, I did not remember that.
Yeah.
That'll be-
Oh my
that'll be-
God.
So let's go
Um,
movie by movie, starting with Godzilla. Any other guys you can think of from Godzilla? There actually aren't, I don't think, anymore.
I was gonna say I can think of all the other actors in it because there's Ken Watanabe, there's Sally Field, there's Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are in the MCU.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's weird Ken Watanabe hasn't done any MCU stuff, right? Like, he should do something. He was in Transformers. That's pretty... I feel like we've referenced that in the MCU. But yeah, he has never been in one. Next, Kong Skull Island. Any other Kong Skull Island guys you think might be in the MCU?
We did Sam Jackson, we did Tom Hiddleston, we did Brie Larson, we did John C. Reilly.
Yep.
God, who else is in that movie?
Quite a few people. It is a humongous cast, and I can't even remember most of them being in it, but I believe that they were.
I think most of them die.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, like, it's hard to remember. Yeah, there's like a bunch of soldiers under Sam Jackson who... I don't remember who any of them are.
And government stooge types. There were a lot of them, too. But
I know John Goodman's in that movie, but I don't believe he's been in an MCU movie.
As far as I can tell, he has not. Although you kind of wonder, why not? You know? He does everything. He should be in him. Yeah, how about this actor? I see. This is one that would have been like a deep cut kind of bank shot. Toby Kebbell plays Jack Chapman. He's like one of the guys. He played Doctor Doom in the shitty Fantastic Four movie. But I didn't think anybody would pick him.
This is crazy.
Shea Wiggum is in that movie. He was the like chief on the Agent Carter show. Eugene Cordero is also in that movie, who is the desk guy on Loki. That was a Loki science technician man.
You said there was a ton left, and there are a few scraps left.
There's some movies that have not even been touched. Also, I'm trying to think. I don't know. You could maybe make the case Shea Wiggum as George Stacy from Across the Spider-Verse is adjacent to the MCU. I would have taken that as well.
Like, I feel that Diggins and I like tapped the well, and I just lost because I couldn't get Monarch Legacy of Monsters Kurt Russell.
I mean,
like, and like my big weakness here is I can't remember anyone who is in King of the Monsters.
Yeah, so that was
Millie
a tough
Bobby
one.
Brown.
So
who isn't in the MCU?
She is not in the MCU, and King of the Monsters
and Charles Dance, but he's also not in the MCU.
Yeah, King of the Monsters is easily the most forgettable of these, and there's not that many in that one. Although there are a lot of actors that just kind of come and go in those, where you're like, is O'Shea Jackson Jr. in a Marvel thing? Not really. Anthony Ramos is going to be the villain in Ironheart, although he is not in it yet, but I would have taken that.
If Ironheart ever comes out.
If Ironheart ever comes out, yeah.
Theoretical shows count, I guess. Okay.
Bradley Whitford is in that movie. He plays, for some reason, What If, the general that works with Agent Carter, who's like, you can't go do Agent Carter stuff, but he's not in any of the movies.
I forgot Bradley Whitford was in that movie.
Also, do you remember who the mom in that movie is? The main character, I would say, of the movie, besides Millie Bobby Brown. She never shows up again, and I just assumed this was Rebecca Hall's character, but it is in fact a different character.
I mean, none of them show up again except Millie Bobby Brown, right?
Rebecca Hall was in the last one. I'm saying like Rebecca Hall has been in 2 of them in a row, whereas I assumed she was also in this one.
In Family and King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I think my brain just replaced the actress in that with Rebecca Hall.
Mm-hmm. It is Vera,
probably in these.
Vera Farmiga plays the mother in that movie, Dr. Emma Russell, who is Kate Bishop's mother in Hawkeye, the show Hawkeye. Yeah, remember that? Then Godzilla versus Kong. We all loved this one. This one also had Fastos. We like that. This one had Julian Dennison, little hot hands boy from Deadpool 2. I would have taken him. That's like kind of an out of the.
He's like Millie Bobby Brown's friend.
Yeah, there was a whole friend thing that they kind of forgot about. Also, Ronnie Chang is in that movie. Ronnie Chang is like the underground fighting guy in Shang-Chi, and I guess now
Ronnie Chang was in King of the Monsters.
I know Kong, Godzilla v Kong. Yeah, I don't remember what his job was in that movie, but I'm assuming he had some job. That one wasn't very good. Then I'll skip. Oh, okay. Godzilla, Monarch Legacy of Monsters. The whole selling point of that show was Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell are both playing the same character. Wyatt Russell, very famously U.S. agent in the Marvel stuff. There's probably other actors from that. I watched that show, but I kind of forgot about it. Oh no, there's definitely another one. I can't remember who it is.
I remembered Wyatt Russell was in the show. I forgot he was U.S. agent.
Yeah, and he's good in that too. I like him in those.
If only that show was good.
Yeah, the show's not good, and it doesn't use him particularly well near the end, but I think he's a pretty good version of his guy.
See, I feel, you know what? I'm actually not sure which show we're talking about right now.
What do you mean? Oh, I'm talking about U.S. Agent one, like that one.
I was also. Okay.
Yeah. Also, Lance Reddick was in that movie, although I don't think he was ever in a Marvel thing, but he could have fooled me. So. If you said with like clarity he was, I would have believed you.
If you were like,
wouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
Lance Reddick, of course, played Garbadon.
Did like motion capture for The Watcher or something. I'd be like, that sounds like the kind of thing they'd bring him in for. And then last one, this movie, the one we just did. Okay. So like we said, Rebecca Hall would have counted for this one, obviously.
Sure.
Brian Tyree Henry plays Fastos. The one that I think would have been like a fun kind of left field one is Dan Stevens is Legion on that show Legion, which is a show that does also kind of exist next to the Marvel stuff, but it does not. Yeah.
So
I like that show.
Is that all of them?
It was a good show. Yeah, there's probably like a couple others that I forgot, but those are the main ones.
So I need to be very clear. And because I'm like filing a protest or an appeal or whatever.
Oh, okay.
None of what you said, I hit like hand to forehead. Like, what? No way. Diggins said 5, got 1 wrong name. I said 3. So official score is 4-3, which is as close as we could have gotten without deep into the bag of holding of like, oh, there's Legions over here.
Legion.
Fat kid from Deadpool's over here. Like, right, instead of going deep into the bag, and I lost by 1 technically, that's an insane tiebreaker. That's basically a tie.
Also got Fastos wrong, so I feel like that shouldn't only count for me.
Fine, you didn't remember the name of what's his name either. John C. Reilly name was Nova Guy. So if we're going technically with names.
You said it was lose, and Diggins didn't know the name either, so then those wash.
I did.
And then I lose on not knowing the goddamn Monarch show.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
Yeah. DJ's upset because if you look at the numbers, he lost.
Oh, no. It's a bad game. Diggins, this is not on you.
It's a great game.
This is not on you. This is bad. So, you can do this, I think, in basketball. I don't know if you can do this in football. You can definitely do it in the U.S. legal system. I'm filing a protest or an appeal to a certain Supreme Court that, in my opinion, is still the law of the land here, and mostly nitpicking, because we need an arbiter, because this kangaroo court has gotten way out of control. We're on a weekly monarchy for whoever. You guys just like pass the ball back and forth.
Monarchy of monsters, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You two have now, for I think I'm not exaggerating, 5 weeks, are passing the ball back and forth to the point where it's like, it just doesn't matter anymore. Like, I should just come on and be like, the summary is that they fought and then they teamed up and then they had a good time, because I just can't win. There's nothing. I got nothing.
DJ, the real challenge is in the mind. You must accept that victory is possible before you can win.
Listen, Tony Robbins, I know you think that this is cool and that you could be a vice president for a guy, or maybe you didn't want to. I don't know how that shook out.
Yeah,
but
it didn't happen, but it was in the cards bullshit. Apparently.
All right, Tony Robbins, I ain't having this. So no, it's fine. I'm filing an appeal. I'm taking the loss this week, but I'm filing an appeal up to the Supreme Court. But we need something. This is like gotten way out of hand. This kangaroo court. You two just like pass the ball back and forth.
You're petitioning. I don't think this is a Supreme Court issue. I feel like you're petitioning the mostly nitpicking Congress to pass a civil rights act to stop discrimination against DJs.
Or we got to look at those texts when it's like, yo, Diggins, I got a sick game this week. You're going to love this because I know how good you are. And again, barely beat me. But barely.
I'm just saying, if we bring this up to the current, like, real Supreme Court, I think this is facially neutral. So like, it doesn't matter how actually discriminatory it is.
I mean, you don't know how conservative I actually am, so I think I'd have a solid chance with the Supreme Court.
You think you can complain enough about woke culture online? Get them on your side?
At least 3 of them would be like, oh, he's got a good case.
You're not wrong.
He is a suppressed white man. He's got a really good case.
But you're being suppressed by other white men.
It's like a double negative. Well, you know, there's trivia about this movie that was actually kind of interesting, but I decided not to do it.
I mean, does it matter? I'm probably gonna lose anyway.
I mean, well, if you decided it's predetermined, I guess you'd never have gotten it. But I will say this: here's a couple trivias real quick. Dan Stevens' character in this movie was dressed like a character from something else. You don't have to tell me who he was or whatever, but they based his appearance on another character from another thing. You don't have to tell me the name of the character, but where do you think that look comes from?
Oh, I was going to say Ace Ventura.
No, it's not that, because they call that out in the thing.
I think it's the same place where Ace Ventura got that look from, which is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Also not correct. It is a different thing. Yeah, it is a G.I. Joe character named Chuckles, which I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, it does look like that guy.
Now I got to Google that.
Yeah, Google G.I. Joe Chuckles.
Yeah.
Here would be at a 0 so far. How about this? This is an interesting one. And this you might have gotten. I have not seen this trivia, so I kind of want to see this cited. But and without well, I mean, it's just a spoiler for the movie because it's on all the posters. Godzilla wears a big glove. Kind of. He wears a little power
Like
glove.
Kong?
Or
Does
Kong.
he?
Yeah, excuse me. Kong wears a big glove. They're both Godzillas. Hairy Godzilla and Spiky Godzilla.
That's
but
fair.
the image used for the blueprint of the glove in the movie is an image of what? This is apparently in there, and I was shocked.
Is it a real thing?
I mean, like, it's a thing that exists outside of that movie. It has other meaning. Is it a thing you can physically pick up and buy? Maybe not, but like it's a thing.
Is it like a helicarrier? Is like that what it was supposed to be?
Diggins, any guesses?
Like, what is it an actual blueprint of, you mean?
The blueprint is something else. Yeah. That doesn't have anything, like, doesn't exist in this movie. It's something, it's an Easter eggy kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But like the helicarrier would have been an answer, you know, that it's something like that.
Wrong, apparently, but
that's on it. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's kind of like a piston thing in it, so I'm blanking on all technology. I don't know. The DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Interesting. Also not correct. This is the number one trivia thing. It's apparently the arm of the Jaeger Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. Apparently they have a clip,
cool.
an image of that. Yeah. So
would have been my next guess, but I would have said like the robot, so I guess I would have been wrong. All right.
Apparently.
See, these are good. It's good trivia. I like this.
How about this? Another question. Where did Godzilla sleeps in the Coliseum? Apparently. I don't know if that's always happened or starts during the events of the movie.
Shrinks his size incredibly.
Yeah, he gets in the Coliseum. Where did the inspiration for that come from? According to the trivia here, that came from somewhere.
Can I ask if real life or fiction?
Yeah, I'll say real life.
Okay. Was it like a time when like the Coliseum was like infested with lizards or something?
Interesting guess. Diggins. I'm not gonna say whether that's right or wrong. Diggins. I won't say if that's closer or further from what Diggins guesses.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Huh. Is there some kind of real life inspiration for this?
To some extent.
The time a different Godzilla went and slept in the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's the time King Kong went and slept in the Coliseum.
My brain is, even though this doesn't make any sense, my brain is just going to the fact that they used to flood it and do naval battles there back in Roman times.
Oh, that would be cool.
Cool.
So neither of these are correct. I will say that I'll give you another guess at like round of guesses at this. This smacks of another piece of trivia from another movie we did this year, as like someone else already did something that's kind of similar to this. And I'm like, is this just what movies are now? And say it's also, yeah, that's all I'll say is this is
obviously it was inspired by Night Swim.
Oh no, that is not correct.
Was it like inspired by a time when like, well, because we didn't do a movie we did this year?
Yes.
Because I was gonna say we didn't do Jumper this year, but they break into the Coliseum for Jumper.
I did think about that, but I was like, that's not really real life, is it?
No.
And that also, yeah. Unless like, were they?
I'll say this: you're both kind of far off from what it is.
I figured. I didn't think I was right.
It is not a. I will say it's not a historical thing.
But they inspired it from something that happens.
Yeah. Without giving it away, that's about as close as I'll get.
I mean, I have nothing except like that time in Florida when someone kept a gator in their pool. Where they're like, would it be funny if that but bigger?
Yeah. What about you, Diggins? Any other guesses before I tell you?
I'm looking back at all the episodes we've done this year. And I'm thinking desperately about what.
I mean, there's no stakes for you. You've already won. This is,
That's true. But, I want to try to get it. DJ, I believe in doing one's best even when you think you will probably not succeed. I believe in putting your best foot forward and keeping a positive attitude.
That is what I did for the most part.
That last part that I said?
Well, I think it's relative.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would guess some kind of animal, like not necessarily a Coliseum thing, more like a way an animal sleeps, but I can't remember. I can't think of it.
That would have been closer than on any of the other ones. Apparently, Godzilla's movements and mannerisms in that scene where he's sleeping curled up in the Coliseum were based off director Adam Wingard's cat Mischief. Much like the Argyle cat was based off the director's real life cat. and
I
Taylor
see.
Swift's cat, but both of
I
those
see.
things.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
isn't that
Okay,
interesting?
that's good. That's good.
There's so many weird trivias in here that I'm like, if you told me that, I'd believe it, but that's definitely not like, I don't know. There's like technically could be a thing. Yeah, so that's I'll say. I wonder if there's anything else that's fun in here. There were a lot of things. How about this? Is they have a list of these. Where does this rank in terms of how much Godzilla screen time is in this movie compared to the other movies?
Ooh. So like what the number is, like
Yeah.
if it's less or
How about this? Rank the Godzilla movies, the ones with Godzilla, so obviously not King Kong, Skull Island. Most screen time to least screen
where I put
time.
that one
right.
last.
Yeah, and you don't have to do the show because he's in the show.
I'll do Godzilla King of Monsters.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna just write this.
Because it's 4 movies, right? That's what we're ranking for.
It's Godzilla v Kong, Godzilla, King of Monsters.
So I'll do King of Monsters
as your number 1.
Yeah, most screen time. Then V Kong, then X Kong, then Godzilla.
Okay. Diggins.
Now, people complain that there's not a lot of Godzilla in that first Godzilla movie, but I don't think that is. I don't think it's so little that he's bottom of the list. So I'm gonna go King of the Monsters. I actually feel like Godzilla might be next because both of these movies have felt very Kong centric.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla v Kong, then Godzilla X Kong.
I actually think Diggins' was closer, although I do want to double check these. Okay, so the actual order is at the top of the list, tied King of Monsters and Godzilla with 10 minutes of screen time in the movie. Then just under that, Godzilla versus Kong. Excuse me. Okay, so this is different. Hold on.
I mean, if that's right, Diggins.
Okay, so I was incorrect, but I don't think it changed the answers here. So it's actually 11 minutes for Godzilla v Kong. That is the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Then King of Monsters and Godzilla both got 10 minutes. This one only got 8. This is the least amount of Godzilla time.
Okay. Diggins was closer.
Yeah. So yeah,
X-Kong
it feels right? There wasn't that much Godzilla in this when you really get down to it.
Oh no, the one that surprised me is that V Kong is more than King of Monsters. That's the one that surprises me.
It's down to a minute, so it's pretty similar.
Sure.
This one has 8 minutes, so this is significantly less than the other ones.
Yeah, this being at the bottom is not well, I mean, I said that Godzilla was the less, but I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense to me. I'm not like shocked by it.
Isn't that interesting? And so yeah.
Diggins wins?
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know what else is an interesting fact I learned just now? Adam Wingard, the director, says the reason that this movie has an X is because of he gives a different reason than I think we've said so far, which is interesting. Either you guys want to take a shot at why this movie has an X in the middle, what it means, what it is inspired by.
What's inspired by? Oh my God. Is it okay? This is really stupid, but I'm going to go with it. Is it like the X-Men? Because the X-Men are a team.
No, it's not. That'd be
Godzilla,
cool.
X-Men, Kong.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's inspired by fan fiction because he ships Godzilla and Kong and wants them to kiss.
No, that's a good one, though. That's really funny. It's actually comes from the shorthand of X standing for a collaboration, like shoe companies that do special collaborations with artists and people like that.
Wait, so that's like the obvious one, though.
Yeah, but the shoe company collaboration is like such a weird, like, I get that it's like a team up thing, but you don't usually use the X for a collaboration in a movie like this.
Okay,
like,
I see what you're saying.
Like in Spy X Family isn't that either. It's like, it would be like, KFC X, Chance the Rapper for the new KFC meal. They do that stuff all the time now. McDonald's does that constantly.
Yeah.
I think that Chance the Rapper KFC deal is going to happen soon.
Oh, I mean, maybe, yeah, he's in some trouble.
Can't wait.
That's pretty funny.
The P. Diddy Burger King menu.
Oh, yeah. Soon. That was true. They did that.
Run to Burger King's before it's gone.
Yeah.
Raided by the FBI.
But yeah, so I'm going to say Diggins wins because Diggins won the first game. And the second and third game, if you want to be specific about it.
It's fine. I let this be my official appeal, and I want to put what I'm basing the grounds on. One, that I think the tiebreaker was too narrow. Two, that I think you were going to go in the tiebreaker no matter what, because I think there's an argument for me having won the actual summary, but it didn't matter. But it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, here's the points against you for summary. You called him King Kong, which is incorrect. Like that is like calling him his wrong name. And then
yeah, you could get sued for that.
And then you just didn't use any of the right words. If you had used, there were a couple of words that neither of you used, I think. Like you said words that could have been right, like ancient, I think was in your summary that didn't end up being a thing. It was in both of them.
You backspaced and took out ancient.
Ancient. Well, whatever.
Well, then that would have been a point for it. But yeah, there were really, besides naming both Titans right off the bat, kind of, there were really not much else that you could, that either of you could have gotten for this.
Well, I'll file my protest and we'll see how the Supreme Court rules.
We'll see.
And then I can't wait for this retroactive win and Diggins' loss.
But Diggins, speaking of that, as the winner, according to right now, we'll see, the appeal
we'll see
is
if he gets taken away like a Villanova title.
That's right. Is that going to happen? Maybe. That'd be fun.
We'll see. It only happens like 5 years later when the title gets taken away.
So it doesn't even really matter because everyone's already filed it away as the thing that happened by then.
Basically, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Diggins, what did you think of Godzilla X Kong? Calling a shoe commercial deal or something. What's it called? The New Universe.
The shoe movie.
It's
a car
commercial.
Empire. Car commercial. Yeah. All of it.
So here's the thing about Godzilla Kong. A New Empire. The New Empire? I don't know.
I think it's Empire.
Yeah.
Listen. We spent a lot of time with humans. The human plots are incredibly bad. Just manifestly uninteresting, and the movie itself doesn't even really care about them. It's nonsensical in nearly every way. It's a thinly veiled excuse for giant monsters to fight. And sometimes that's all I need. I loved this movie.
Oh, wow.
It was so stupid and like ridiculous in all the ways I want this kind of movie to be. Like it has so many, like, I think all of the fight scenes are really fun and like silly. I'll talk about it in the wheel or the summary or whatever. But I feel like they did a lot of like creative things with how the monsters fought each other and like the powers that got used and stuff that I just was really delightful for me. So like if anyone says they didn't like this movie, I get it. But DJ said that he kind of liked Fast X because of the shoot bangs. Sometimes all I need is the big punch. And that's my shoot bang. It's the big punch. So I had a great time. I really liked this movie.
Interesting.
I don't have more to say than that. So DJ, what did you think?
I'm surprised that the crash bang worked for you. I will say for me, I did not enjoy this movie as much, but I do agree that the human parts are quite bad and the monster stuff is fun. I don't need this movie to like have the story of I need to feel like a mom and being a mom is important and now I need to let go as a mom because there's nothing more important than momming and knowing when to let go as a mom. Like that's just stupid. All that
DJ's
stuff
like,
is insane.
Yeah, it should be about being a dad.
Yeah,
that's
like
what
other
really
ones.
Matters.
It would make it better. Like you're saying.
Do you remember what the mom's deal was in the Godzilla King of Monsters, whatever the second one of these was with Godzilla
Absolutely
in them?
not.
She was like the villain who was an eco-terrorist who wanted to free Godzillas.
Right.
It was the most interesting plot line any of these movies have ever even touched. So cool. They didn't do anything with it, but that was part of it.
Yeah, and then none of those characters except Millie Bobby Brown showed up again.
Yep. Charles Dance was post-credit scene to take the head to the other guy. I don't know if we ever saw him in that movie, but he was apparently doing that.
But like we'll talk about some of these things where I think that the plot like brings up a thing and then drops it, which I find very frustrating. But they need to be brave or chain up all their CGI effects people to just like make the monster movie, because everything else just gets in the way. Like there's entire like major cities being destroyed and it barely matters. Like that is like the new norm, and it's like I don't even have a problem with that, but the way like our characters react and like say plot points come up kind of fall apart, I'm just like, well, this is stupid, right? Because the movie's 2 hours and a lot of it's stupid. If it's like a tight 90 of just the punches, like then it's great. Like, right, like Godzilla or Kong like negging the bad guy about like his stupid fucking tooth like is hilarious and amazing. And I like need more of that and less of the mom bullshit. So unfortunately, like for me, I come out on the movie like I think it's like mid, but I do think it's like one of the better ones of these. Like they're getting to an efficiency where these are like trending upwards, whereas like trending down. Because I think when we were at King of the Monsters, we were in a pretty dark place, and it's like it's gotten better since then, which is a good thing. So yeah, like I really am. I'm like classic DJ. I'm like right down the middle. I'm like 5 out of 10, maybe like 6 out of 10, because the monster stuff is like better and we get more Godzilla runtime than I had thought. But for me, it comes out like exactly fine. I didn't love it, but I certainly didn't hate it. Nando?
Yeah, about the same. I also didn't love it, didn't hate it. I think these monster movies just don't work for me as monster movies. I don't know what they are. Like they're kind of also superhero movies, but like we've lost a lot of the scale of the monsters by this point. And the human characters don't like the thing about these that I think the show really broke for me, kind of the one that nobody watched. Well, I don't know. Either of you guys watch the show? The one with the two Kurt Russells? Yeah.
No.
So it's not good, especially at the end. It gets really bad. But in the beginning, it's kind of interesting because it's like a metaphor for stuff. And like this idea that Godzilla could be a metaphor for stuff. I know that's kind of what Godzilla -1 is, or at least like he is, you could see what kind of story they're telling, whatever. I guess they kind of do this with motherhood here, but like it doesn't need to be that specific or like dramatic, but it just needs to be something besides just like he's Godzilla. And these stories just cannot figure out what to do with any of these people in their relationship to him. Honestly, that's why Eco-Terrorist was about as close as I've been to liking what the humans are doing in any of these, is because it's like, that is something. She's got a car and she put the little radio in it and they're driving around Boston. Godzilla's following them. But like, this is she's doing eco-terrorism and that's like a plot. I love Dan Stevens and I could not deal with him in this. Like, and by that, I could not deal with him. I liked him, but he didn't work for me. And like, I appreciate what he was doing, but like, if anything was going to save this, it would have been that. And that didn't happen, which is a shame.
Now, I hear you guys. I understand, but have you considered that Godzilla does suplex Kong?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
He does suplex Kong.
Have you considered that?
And there's some cool stuff in here. I do think like they almost got, there were some parts of like the team fighting that was interesting. I also think, and this is maybe just me, I don't really like Kong that much. I think I'm a Godzilla guy, and the less Godzillas in these movies, the less interesting some of them tend to be. Although I also don't think these movies do a lot of great stuff with Godzilla. Like there's like that scene where he goes into the water to fight the big snake, and then nothing happens, and then he comes out with the dead snake. It's like, cool, he did that. I think that was in this. Was that in this?
Yeah, that happened.
I watched a couple things that are kind of similar this week, but like with that, it's like I wouldn't mind seeing that. I would have been kind of cool, but I get it. It's expensive. And yeah, it is weird which characters do continue through this franchise, like who we've decided to focus on. Because like the little girl was in, I want to say this, she was not in Godzilla v Kong, or was she? Or excuse me, in Kong Skull Island? Was she in the?
She wasn't in Skull Island. Well, Skull Island's in the 70s, so she wouldn't have existed.
Right. But she was, they did find her on that island, right?
Yeah, she's the last one of the tribe.
Okay, yeah.
I will say, to this movie's credit, I feel like they've done really well at being like Godzilla 1, Kong 2. Like that hierarchical relationship that I think should exist. Like Kong is not Godzilla. Godzilla better than Kong. I think it's good that they've kind of like established that.
I think they've established the correct order because Godzilla is the best.
Yeah, and he's just cooler to see. Like, Kong is just a monkey.
Hold on, Nando.
Look at how many monkeys we're getting this year. How many Godzillas? Several.
We cannot let DJ get away with this.
What did he say?
What?
We had a huge argument in Godzilla v Kong where he was like, no way, Kong's better. Kong should win. And was like deep in the pocket for Kong. And now he's just going to act like he always liked Godzilla more.
Am I not allowed to change my opinions or forget what old ones are, which is very human and me?
Yeah.
Are these not things that are allowed to happen? I'll admit I was wrong.
Okay. That's all I wanted. I wanted you to admit that.
I think I might have
be
your
in
ways.
the pocket of Big Godzilla.
I might have been on the same page as DJ until I saw this movie and was convinced maybe I don't want a full Kong movie. Maybe I want a Godzilla movie or something. Like, because Kong is just a guy. He's just a guy who does stuff and hangs out. Like, he's like Tarzan or any jungle man. And that's not that fun. As opposed to like Godzilla, who goes to a city and, steps on everybody. That's pretty cool. But also, you know what also I don't like about this movie? The Hollow Earth shit. I never liked that. And we spend so much time in the Hollow Earth.
I love it because it's the dumbest shit imaginable.
It is insanely dumb. And like, yeah, it's that part of it's insane. We'll get to it, but for some reason we've spent so much time. Like, I kind of thought they would write out the Hollow Earth or something as like, that's where Kong is. We don't know where he is, but that's where he is. But instead we spend the whole movie there pretty much. And a lot of the show is there too. They love this Hollow Earth thing. Also, time dilation happens in the Hollow Earth, but not in the movies. But in the show it does, which is pretty weird. Yeah.
Huh. I don't know how that would work.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't even understand how the Hollow Earth works the way they kind of explain it in this. Like, it does seem like it's a portal to another dimension, but it is also underneath our Earth somewhere, according to that one graph they show.
They basically just treat it as a portal to another dimension.
Yeah. And that's fine. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. I guess, like, sometimes Godzilla's from space, right? Like, he just comes from space.
I don't think Godzilla, the like main Godzilla, ever comes from space.
Some of his friends do, though, right?
There are aliens in the Godzilla universe. There are many of the monsters are aliens, but I don't think Godzilla ever is.
Okay. And then some of them are from Earth, right? Like, some of them are just like hiding under the ground or something. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't prefer the space answer, but just the Earth answer when it turned into this other planet. It's like, might as well just be space. I don't know.
Now, of course, Space Godzilla is from space.
Sure.
But that's not Godzilla. That's Space Godzilla.
You know what the other thing about this movie was that I didn't like, but I get, but it's annoying to me. This movie felt like a lot of points in the movie, they were auditioning the theme park ride for this movie. And they did it in the last one of these, but man, this one was like, hey, here's our fancy car. Get in the fancy car and put your seatbelt on. We're going to go down into the drop. Like, yeah. I don't know if they've done that yet because, obviously there was the King Kong ride that used to exist in the, in Universal Studios. I don't know if it still does. I don't think so. I think they changed a lot of those. But who would have made this? Would it be Universal?
Yeah.
So they're making their big giant theme park with like the Dark Universe and stuff. Why are they not doing Godzilla verse or something?
Are they not? Is that not part of the?
Think so.
I think they have Godzilla and Kong stuff in the Universal Studios park in Florida.
I think they have Kong stuff. I don't think they have. If like my memory, I just cannot think of a Godzilla thing.
The Godzilla stuff, I might be because they don't own Godzilla. They have the right to use Godzilla in these movies, but Toho owns Godzilla, so that might be why they don't have theme park stuff.
It would be a pretty cool theme park. Like, a lot of these things would be cool, but yeah, this thing feels like they're really going for like Kong is like just, I don't know. It feels like the Spider-Man ride where like Spider-Man catches you in like a web and then throws you over to the other guy. I feel like they'll make that someday, but I don't think any of these movies have been as big of a hits as they need to be to justify them.
I thought this one did pretty well.
It did do well. It made like a pretty solid amount of money, but didn't make like Avatar money yet. Yeah, we need one of these to be like a flat out, top grossing movie of the year. But DJ, speaking of movies, what happened in this movie?
You have to summarize. I've gotten so good at it by now because I've had to do it so many times.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm here to correct you.
This movie has quite a bit of plot in it.
It's also unfortunate because this is the longest distance I've gone between seeing a movie and talking about it, so it's gonna be rough. But it'll be fine, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna go with how I think this movie begins and be wrong, because I don't know exactly how it begins. I think how it roughly begins is that we are in a school, and it's like, no, is it not the school?
That's early, but I don't know if that's the beginning. I feel like they have to start with a Godzilla thing or some shit.
We open with Kong?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
We open with Kong. Kong's hanging out in the Hollow Earth. That's basically it. He sets up a cool trap and traps monsters because he's so smart and cool.
And rips a monster above his head and pours goo all over himself.
We'll talk about the goo. And then so we're setting up that Kong is basically now Tarzan, and he kind of lives in Hollow Earth as its ruler, I guess.
But also he won't wait.
He's alone.
He's alone. Yeah, he's the last of his kind, I guess. Doesn't play out exactly like that, but whatever.
As far as we knew until this point, like in Skull Island, they were like, he's the last one.
Right. Yeah.
This is a thing that we have. And Godzilla vs. Kong, like he found the ancient Kong civilization. That was
right. It was all gone. Yeah. And in this, I feel like the trap is what opens up the door to the next realm or some shit, right? There's like a...
Is it?
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Causes like a little cave-in that like makes the portal open. So, yeah, I guess they were like sealed in there kind of by accident.
Not by accident. But,
were they like in jail? They were like in jail for being bad?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay.
All right. So that happens. Then at some point, there's a monarch school, which is a school for monarch, I guess.
I guess it's like military school, right?
Yeah.
They don't
or not military school, but school on military bases.
Right. All human parts bad. And the girl from last time, from the Iwi tribe, the last of Skull Island.
I would
definitely
love a crack at that name.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't even.
I know it,
guess.
but
of course you do, because of your impeccable memory. I'm not taking a crack because I just have nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gia. Very good.
So Gia's having these like crazy visions of these like weird spike things, and she's drawing them all over. And it's like, this is a problem. And then Rebecca Hall, who's her adopted mom, who she lives with Rebecca Hall now, is like, what's going on? And the girl, it's all sign language. She's like, I don't know, this is all fucked up. I don't feel right here. I'm getting headaches. So I guess Rebecca Hall takes this to Monarch because there's so much stupid shit going on. Okay, so there's monsters everywhere, and Godzilla has to go kill monsters and destroy cities. We'll get to that.
That's right.
But just know that that's happening. Meanwhile, and Monarch monitors all this and just lets it happen.
I mean, what else are they gonna do?
It's not like you could stop Godzilla,
right? So yeah, it just lets it happen.
And by this point, it's like Godzilla's a good guy. We've seen enough Godzilla fights to know if we stay out of his way, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Godzilla just shows up when other monsters attack cities, and he doesn't care if he destroys the city while he's doing it, but he only shows up to the city if it's already under attack.
Right.
It makes me question what Monarch's doing, but whatever. So
teaching kids stuff, sign language and stuff, I guess. That's like the bulk of it.
So Monarch monitors that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Monarch is monitoring Kong in the Hollow Earth, and I guess there's like weird transmissions coming up, but they don't exactly know what it means or what it is. But they're just like, we don't know what this is. So Rebecca Hall is like, oh no, Monarch doesn't know what's going on, but I gotta help my daughter because she's freaking out. So she goes to the conspiracy theorist from last time, whose name is, what was his name?
Bernie Hayes.
Bernie.
Kingo or Fastos, excuse me. Bernie, yeah.
Look at Bernie. And goes, hey, you helped last time, you need to help this time. And she's like, well, if you'll come on my podcast, I'll help you, or something like that.
Yeah.
Something really stupid.
Podcast is part of it. This is the second movie in a row with a podcast in universe that no one listens to or something, even though it's got all the secrets of the universe in it.
And he's selling like insurance for monster destruction.
Godzilla insurance, which already it's like, okay, stop showing me more interesting movies, because that's not the most interesting thing. I want to see what that is. File a claim.
Who's running the Godzilla insurance company?
What do they do? Yeah. Do they see if Godzilla's coming in your area? Do they like, it can't be like, oh, your house is good Godzilla insurance and your house is bad. Like you're going to build your house with a big spike on it. So if Godzilla steps on it, he'll go, ow, and then not finish stepping on it. Like all houses are pretty liable for Godzilla explosion.
Yeah. Right. So maybe shield on around coast, I guess. I don't know. Right?
Yeah. Right.
You set up a bunch of traps around your house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Godzilla fall into a pit. So he's like, okay, I'll come help you. Meanwhile, I think now at this point, Kong has a little toothache, so he has to come up to the surface and get like dental surgery from a guy we're introduced to, Trapper.
That's right.
It's like that show Tracker that they were announced like advertising during the Super Bowl every 5 seconds. Not a word, but his name is Tracker. And what's his deal?
Yeah, so he new to this movie. He wasn't in any of the previous movies.
You'd be convinced the other blonde tall guy could have been him though. Like it's like a Will Smith Idris Elba Suicide Squad situation where they're like, did he just say no at the last minute? And they had to go, it's a different guy, but pretend it's the same guy. Because very similar looking dudes. Because it was like, who's the other one? One of the Skarsgårds was the main guy in the last one of these, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Not in the MCU.
So no,
not yet.
Trapper comes to replace Godzilla's tooth with a big old like new fake tooth. I forget what it's made out of, but he could shoot through the Empire State Building. Was that like a little little reference to
make you think
is gonna eat it?
That seems like the kind of thing you wouldn't say in this universe, right? Like,
yeah, right.
He probably will do that, you know.
It's like, okay, don't threaten me with a good time.
It's like, yeah, these planes are so good they can blast right through the. And it's like, don't say that, because then when it happens, people are gonna look back and like, did you know? Yeah, I did know.
I've equipped Kong with the ability to destroy every building on planet Earth.
Yeah,
he could level a city in 10 seconds flat with this tooth.
Also, funny that Kong just kind of like knows to go to the dentist.
Yeah,
right. He just comes up and he's like, "Can you guys help me out?"
And it works. They put him under.
He's like that. He's like that gorilla in Congo who learned how to talk. He's very smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So they help out Kong, but then I think because like they found out that one of their bases in the Hollow Earth, they want to figure out what the signal disturbance is. They're like, we're gonna follow Kong to the Hollow Earth. And also it's very important that Godzilla doesn't know Kong is here, because if Godzilla does know Kong is here, Godzilla's like, hey, get off my turf. I schooled you last time, I'll school you again. So
right, because he's the king of monsters, so he has this alpha status over all the rest of them or whatever.
Right, and even over humans, right? Humans now we just live here.
Yeah,
right?
we're his pets or something.
Yeah. Godzilla doesn't have to go to court, so they go to Hollow Earth.
Court. They could sue him. Godzilla v. Oh yeah, he'd be good at that because he's so tall.
Well, it's just like how, like in these other movies, like, oh, we'll sue the Avengers or the Justice League or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna sue Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. They could sue Monarch and just be like, you're letting Godzilla do too much stuff, and Monarch would be like, well, sorry, we won't let him do that anymore, sir. I'm gonna give him weaker teeth so he can't bite the Empire State Building in half.
Give him a good stern talking to.
Yeah. We're going to give him this big robot arm, though, so we're going to give him all, like, mecha skeletons, so probably would be worse.
We juiced up Kong. So they go to Hollow Earth. They find that their base has been, like, destroyed by a possible different monkey, because there's a signs of a monkey, but it's not Kong, because Kong wouldn't do that. Also, it wasn't his call sign, I guess.
And he was not there, I guess. Like, he was upstairs with them.
That also is true. So like, well, that's scary. And now we get to the part where I forget exactly what happens, but they find like an ancient civilization that's like the Iwi tribe, but different. Well, because humans also like evolved in the Hollow Earth.
It just is the Iwi tribe.
Yeah, they just are.
Oh, it is?
They're different. They're a different Iwi tribe than the one that was on Skull Island, but they are just the Iwi.
Oh, okay.
Also, this hasn't been coming up yet, but what's Godzilla doing during this?
He's just kicking ass and taking names. Well, he's beating up monsters, but then he's also like going to nuclear power plants and sucking up all the radiation because their monarch's like, oh, Godzilla's powering up for something.
Yeah,
Godzilla's gonna get big strong.
Godzilla doesn't turn a different color. We can't sell tickets. We need to put something on the poster. So Godzilla, how?
Yeah, so he gets his Super Saiyan 1, which is big blue, right? That's his like Super Saiyan 1. But then he starts, taking care of. He's going to other monsters' places, beating them up, taking their energy, so he can become Super Saiyan 2.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember the name of the monster he kills in the Arctic?
Not.
Tiamat.
Nah.
Tiamat.
The same one
Tiamat.
from Avenger or from Eternals. It's the name of the thing that they kill.
Well, it's just the name of an ancient Babylonian god
that they got from Eternals. Brian Tyree Henry was like, you know what you should call that? I'm not in any scenes with it, and I don't know what's in the script, so I can't possibly say this, but Tiamat, it's cleaner.
But it's
called
nice
the Tiamat.
Our humans, meanwhile, in the surface, in the Hollow Earth, they basically find the other Iwi tribe, and they basically learn there's a society of people who are psychic and can manipulate gravity because they have these like special crystals that let them just do whatever.
Anti-gravity crystals, and they use that to lift heavy stone because I guess they have no other technology to do that.
Yep,
but they also use it to talk to each other somehow.
Well, they're just also psychic.
Well, and
I thought that the crystals made them psychic.
I don't know.
I think the crystals do make you psychic because the other monster also has a crystal wand that it uses to psychically control the thing. So yeah, I don't know what they are.
It's not explained. It doesn't seem to matter at all.
Also, it's like the weirdest thing about this movie, because you talked about it a little bit, is the little girl is having like Godzilla flashbacks or whatever, and like she's having little. Like, I'm trying to think of what movie this is, like The Omen or something, where she blacks out and then comes to and has drawn 3 big pyramids. And it turns out those are either the waveforms that come up when you get a weird signal from there, or the triangles themselves of those things, or the pyramids. Like everything's 3 triangles with these guys, but it doesn't seem to be related in any significant way. Like that can't be what that is, but it is. And everybody just knows they're the 3 triangle guys.
So the Iwi tribe, they were sending out that distress signal because they know that something bad is going down, because we get this, my favorite part, we got this in Ghostbusters last week, we got it this week. Rebecca Hall just sat down and read a script of a lot of exposition. And the short version is, once upon a time, Godzilla had to crush this like uprising of monkey people led by the Scar King, and he torched their whole lands, and he's like, you live here now and you stay. But they have a new leader, the Scar King, who he is using a crystal he got. I guess, this was the thing that we were trying to figure out. Kong's trap set this into motion, but we don't exactly remember or know how. Like, did he let the Scar King get a crystal?
No. Scar King's had the crystal the whole time. It's just that Godzilla like imprisoned them. Mustafar, the lava planet.
Yes.
And I guess the trap, like sort of opened up a way for them to get out.
Okay, sure. So that happened. So now the Scar King has this crystal which he uses to control a big ice monster named
Shimo.
Shiva.
Shimo.
Shimo, okay. Is Shimo in other stuff? Is this like a legacy monster?
No, this is new. Also, Shimo, DJ.
Yeah, that's what I said. Shiva.
Boshi.
Shamu. So the Scar King is going to take Shamu, and again, 2 weeks in a row, we're going to get a second Ice Age.
Yeah.
Because they're going to use his Shiva's amazing ice powers to blanket everything with ice.
Yeah, they should have called this one Godzilla v. Kong Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire.
They could have done it.
Yeah, they should have.
They didn't know they could have, but they could have.
But it was kind of a surprise that the Scar King had a big ice-breathing monster.
Yeah.
It was cool that they actually held something back from the trailer, because the ice monster could have been in so many trailer shots.
Instead, it kind of seemed like this movie was about Godzilla or King Kong and his baby or something. Most of the trailers was that. And
you got to tell us all about the Kong plot.
Now. Right. So while all this is happening, Kong is like, he's all better now, and he's going through a Hollow Earth, and he meets up with some other monkeys. He's like, oh man, there's more monkeys, and these monkeys are like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, Kong. And so Kong's like, I guess I gotta fight all of you now. So he beats them. There's a child. At one point, he uses the child to beat up some of the other monkeys, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And then he's like, oh good, I did it, I'm Kong. And the child's like, I guess Kong's like, kid, you're cool. And he's like, oh, take me to your leader. Like, you gotta take me to your leader.
Yeah,
and
he's not kid, you're cool yet, but he is like, kid,
Right.
you're gonna take me to where you came from.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that plays out. At one point, the kid tries to kill Kong by using a monster to kill Kong. Kong kills that monster, and he's like, you piece of shit, kid. And the kid's like, please don't kill me. And Kong's like, I'm not gonna kill you, kid. I maybe understand that you've been corrupted. Just please take me to your leader and stop trying to kill me.
That's the other one I forgot, where a monster kills the thing off screen, and it's like, I would have liked to have seen that. That seemed exciting.
Same.
But I guess throwing the head after is as much as we're gonna get.
So eventually the kid is like, you know what, I think you are cool, Kong, and they come to a mutual understanding. And so Kong finds the Scar King, seeing that he's being a dick. The Scar King kills the kid's dad, which by kicking him into lava, which was insane. They fight, and unfortunately Kong cannot overcome the power of Shamu.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that was the kid's mom.
This is the mom. Oh, well, either way. It's savage.
And what is the Scar King doing during all this? Like, I feel like this is something that I forgot was something, but like he's like got little, like they're working for him or something, right?
Oh yeah, it just seems like he's it's his kingdom, and he's just making them do labor.
Are they trying to build something? Yeah, is there like a pyramid behind
I'm not
it?
sure like what's going on.
I think the idea is that they're digging to try to get back to the surface, but
okay,
it's going to take forever. But Kong opened up the other way, so they once they come back and tell him about that, then he's like, "Oh, we can go that way." Now, how did he kill the outpost facility before this? If that was what happened,
yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Kong and the Scar King fight. Kong loses. The kid helps Kong escape, and then Kong now makes it to the Iwi tribe. But unfortunately, one of the Scar King's boys followed them and was like, "Hey, we can go take out Kong. We can take the Iwi tribe, and we get to the surface because they have portals."
Right.
Won't that be fun? So luckily, the humans are down there. They make Kong better. They give him a big old fist from the trailer, which was called Project
They fist Kong.
Yeah, that's what the X is for. Godzilla fist Kong.
I forget what it was called something stupid.
It's called Project Powerhouse, even though that name is bad. It should have been called like Project Uppercut or Haymaker or something, because it's just a big punch. Like
Project Powerhouse.
You guys got to. This is something that Iron Man was pretty good at, and you guys suck at. Is naming your shit.
Yeah.
But, what are you gonna do?
Kong's big old fist.
Yeah.
The fist protocol.
Mm-hmm.
So
make it an acronym
better
for something like fight in technology or something. I don't know.
So they get Trapper to make Kong better. Then they're like, all right, what we need to do is get Kong get to the surface, recruit Godzilla, bring him back down here so they can do a team up and fight. That more or less happens. We'll talk about some of the funny details, but Kong gets Godzilla to go to the Hollow Earth. They have a big fight, and then at some point, the Scar King escapes to the surface. So they start fighting in the Hollow Earth. Scar King gets to the surface, so they all go to the surface, and then Godzilla and Kong win basically.
TJ, I can't believe you've forgotten my girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember how this happens though. Now that you mention it, I've already forgotten what the mechanism is. It just there?
Part of the thing with Iwi and Gia is they're like, you are here to fulfill an ancient prophecy.
Right. Oh, I forgot about this stupid.
Where you go up to our pyramid and they're just like, hey, what's up, girl?
Yeah, right.
And then Mothra shows up.
Yeah, we get Godzilla's ancient ally, Mothra, comes.
The mother of monsters or something.
Yeah. Who is alive, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Don't worry about it.
What happened to Mothra in the last time we saw Mothra?
Mothra sacrificed herself to power up Godzilla.
Right.
Monsters.
Yes. Yeah.
but now she's back, baby.
Yeah.
It was like daughter of Mothra.
Yeah, I don't know why
something.
everybody's just not, oh, another Mothra. They're like, it's Mothra again. Like, I don't know, maybe there's two of them. Got a couple
right?
Godzilla things roaming around.
I have a production reason why it's like this. I don't have an
Okay.
in-universe reason. For most of the movie, this was a new, unrelated monster that served this role called like Frostfera or something.
Oh.
But
They realized that was stupid. Like, no.
Well, yeah, like, well, what it is, they showed it to test audiences, and test audiences were like, that's just Mothra.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what Mothra would be. And they're like, yeah, fuck it, just make it Mothra.
That's amazing.
Good enough.
I love when test audiences are smarter than the movie studios.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's how much name ID Mothra has, is that you could like show it to a bunch of people and be like, I know Mothra.
I
I
love
feel
Mothra.
like it's probably the third most nameable one of these behind
Yeah, that's
Godzilla
fair.
and Kong, I would imagine.
Yeah. I love that so much. So, yeah, it's weird because that happens, but it matters so little to the plot. Like, it could just not
Mothra
happen.
gets Godzilla and Kong to work together because
Mhm.
at first Godzilla is just fighting him, and Godzilla's about to like murder Kong, and then Mothra shows up and it's like, Godzilla, stop it! You and Kong got to fight the big bad guy. Godzilla's like, you right, girl.
I feel like Godzilla could have gotten on board either way, but sure, it's fine.
And also, God, I think Mothra saves the people a bunch. I feel like Mothra's like doing stuff
Oh,
because the people are still there.
Yeah, our heroes were gonna crash, but Mothra saves them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she's
Mothra,
good like that.
Mothra helps out in the Hollow Earth part of the fight. She's not there for the surface part of the fight.
Mm-hmm. By the way, do you remember, DJ, where the surface part of the fight takes place?
Well, originally Egypt, but then they moved to, I can't remember.
I want to say it's Rio?
I'm
De
pretty
Janeiro?
sure- I thought it was, oh, it is Brazil. Yeah.
Which, like,
Yeah,
I want to say Rio also got frozen in Moonfall or something. I feel like that I've seen that city
So
frozen to
funny.
death from the beach over already in a movie kind of recently, and it wasn't the Ghostbusters one. It must have been something else. I think it was Moonfall or Geostorm, maybe one of them.
Could be.
Maybe they used the same. Maybe they just made that, and they just
imagine.
yeah, they just like, oh, we already have that scene. We should use that. Yeah. What's the end? How's it end?
I mean, everyone's pretty cool about everything, right? I'm trying to think. Godzilla goes back to being the surface. Oh, Godzilla's pink now. I forgot to mention that. He's pink. He's Super Saiyan 2. He's pink because he powered up big. And then Kong goes back to Hollow Earth to does he lead the monkeys now? Is he the new Monkey King?
Who does he go back to Hollow Earth with?
Yeah.
I honestly do not remember.
Well, besides the little monkey boy, who's his surrogate
I thought that
son
was who we were
now,
talking
New
about.
son, yeah.
he also goes back with the Ice Titan, who they freed from Scar King.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he goes back to Mustafar, the lava planet,
Yes.
and is like telling all the other apes, like, I killed your king, you're free now.
Yep.
And that's how the movie ends.
Congrats. Yeah. No post-credit scene.
No.
We don't know where they're going
No.
next. They've given us nothing.
Yeah, I'd be
Just
curious about that.
Just Kong implying that he will take over as leader of the great apes.
Yep.
Yep.
No future potential in that premise.
Planet of the Great Kongs or something. That can be something. Maybe he'll pick up the Statue of Liberty or something buried under the sand.
Just throw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's so strong.
Yeah, I think that's
Wait,
most
but that
of it.
would mean the Planet of the Apes is... Oh
Hollow
my God.
Earth. Yeah. Maybe he takes it down to Hollow Earth with him. But also, well, what about the developments with the human family, DJ? What happens to them?
Who cares?
I don't
They're all
even
good.
remember.
Gia decided, I don't need to be with my native people, although she doesn't know them personally. So
Yeah.
she might as well be with like the woman who's her mom. So
Yeah, there's some
That
minor
happened.
drama where Rebecca Hall's like, oh, Gia fits in here better than she does on the surface. I should probably leave her here, but I'll miss her. But at the end, Gia's like, no, I want to stay with you.
yeah. Because like I don't know these people or speak their telekinetic language, I guess.
She
Maybe
does
I
speak
do.
the
but
telekinetic language.
He does, yeah.
So is it the crystals? Do you being down there?
I don't, but I feel like you
Yeah.
also have to be an Eowyn because the others don't get to be telepathic.
And she had the magic dreams before she was anywhere near the crystals. I think it's just like in their brains.
Okay, but they've like harnessed it, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
They just have like an extra brainwave that they can use to talk to the crystals and each other or something.
Could be.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that's the movie. So yeah.
Pretty
Sure
much.
is something.
Yeah. You want to see? I'm trying to think. There probably weren't too many wheels in this movie. I bet the Scar King had a big wheel. He was making his guys turn or something. He seemed like kind of
Was
got
a
to
big
do
Ferris
that.
wheel destroyed at some point?
Oh, or was that the Ghostbusters one last week?
That
I
was
can't remember.
Oh, God, I can't.
Yeah,
so much different
so
destruction
hard.
via ice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there was a car in this movie, right? Was there even a car?
There was definitely a car for the commercial.
Yeah, that's true for the commercial, which I spun the R wheel and it landed on that car commercial. So I missed this. Diggins, can you explain this to me?
So there's a scene early on when Rebecca Hall is picking up Gia from school. And they're like talking about how she doesn't feel like she fits in. And then she goes, and then they're just like, all right, we're going to go home. And then it cuts to exactly the angle you would see for a car that is in a commercial. Let me see if I can find this clip for you because it was going around Twitter.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry, it was going around X.
X-Kong.
How dare you?
Yeah,
like a shoe.
Call it the wrong thing.
Collaboration.
I'm finding X's about it, but I'm having trouble finding the actual clip. Maybe because it was getting copyright claimed.
Maybe because the website sucks, probably.
Like Dune 2, when all of Dune 2 was on Twitter for like half a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when Dune 2 was on Twitter briefly. But yeah, so it cuts it perfectly, like even to the point where it is parked on grass. She's not on a road or a parking lot or anything, so that it can have a better angle. And it's so, like, I didn't notice it in the theater, but looking at it like afterwards, it's so blatant. Oh, here it is. I found it. This media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner.
Listen, you gotta respect the copyrights. You gotta respect
that. That is the only thing I respect.
The only thing I respect is copyright law. It's true.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. I don't know.
You'll just have to go see the movie again.
Yeah, like what's his name said? Like James Cameron said, just see the movie twice. And then you'll see all the parts you missed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. Yeah, it's a car commercial. I feel like some of these movies really went heavy into cars. I do remember the King of Monsters movie specifically. Like the last 20 minutes of the movie is just them driving around Boston in like a car, and you're like, they can't do that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe are there any other sponsored stuff in this movie? I can't remember. The other SpawnCon. Yeah.
I can't think of any. There was nothing like incredibly gross.
It'd be tough, but they
fortunately.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, there was that scene where Kong opened up a refreshing Pepsi.
Yeah, that would be something.
Can you imagine?
Like, held it logo out to the audience.
But didn't open it, just held it and like kept it going. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like they could do something. I guess they could do something where like I wouldn't mind in universe if like they did because there's a little bit where we just play with the normal world that exists, like where the car commercial takes place. I wouldn't mind if there was like billboards in the back for like toothpastes or whatever that used King Kong as part of the marketing or something. Like I'd like to see how Kong would have been absorbed into this popular culture. Like, do people like him and hate Godzilla? Where do they fall on this? But yeah, I don't know. They really don't have time. They have to go to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, we got to go there where the one guy gets eaten by a tree.
That guy who was so mean. Could not have been meaner to everybody.
Well, he was cool, but then had a weird heel turn.
Because he was about to get eaten. The movie had to decide to do that.
It was so weird.
Yeah, I spun the wheel again. landed on something. I don't remember who said this. We kind of worked around with it. This is the conspiracy theory podcaster saying true facts that is sponsored, but nobody still believes. Let's talk about him. What the fuck is he doing in these? Why is he a main character that's managed to? Is it just because of Eternals and the white hot star power of Brian Tyree Henry?
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's the justification for him being here is so stupid.
Yeah.
Where he's the conspiracy theory podcaster who, yeah, like you said, everything that he said has been proven true. And like it's public knowledge. Everyone knows that the Titans exist. Everyone knows Kong exists.
And he
and everyone knows Monarch exists. It's an accepted fact of the universe.
And he was one of the only people that was around for the Mechagodzilla stuff that he saw. So like he could probably write a book about the shit that happened to Mechagodzilla with him, Billy Bobby Brown, and the kid from Deadpool.
Well, they do kind of throw in a couple of lines here that suggest that Monarch has officially denied that he was involved in that event, and that kind of ruined his credibility.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that.
And that's never stopped the internet before.
Yeah, it seems just unnecessarily mean. Yeah, why is everyone suddenly trusting these government institutions?
Yeah, how is he not at least on the Joe Rogan podcast of this universe? Or the fucking Bill Maher podcast
definitely.
Just smoke. Yeah.
Yes.
He has definitely been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Absolutely. He'd be great on it. Joe Rogan would pull up clips of Godzilla fighting Kong and stuff and been like, you know, this.
It's like, you saw this, man, but it's being denied. It's being denied everywhere. It's crazy that you saw this thing and that we're all just saying, no, it didn't happen. And you're being discredited. That's crazy, man. That's trippy. That's trip, man. Oh, man. Let's get Elon in here. It's my boy.
Elon, I feel like, is there an Elon pastiche in this universe yet?
I don't think so.
I mean, maybe the guy who made Mechagodzilla in the last one?
Yeah, the Mechagodzilla guy seemed too cool and competent. I'm looking for like a true dummy who's like tries to build a Godzilla harness or something and then gets eaten by Godzilla immediately.
It's just like, oops.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm trying to, I'm thinking of a character like the character in the first Jurassic World movie who like is like, let's go ride this helicopter and then just crashes into the pterodons.
Although, Nando, I would have to say, for him to be a real Elon, XP, he would have to say he was going to invent a Godzilla harness, never actually do it, and then call everyone who actually solved the problem a pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy is sponsored by Godzilla Insurance.
Yeah. But so the stupid thing that they used to get him into the movie is Rebecca Hall has all like the waveforms for the weird signal and the drawings from her daughter, and are like, I need to know what these waveforms are. And nobody that I employ for this specific purpose can do it. Only you, random conspiracy theory man, can figure out what these waveforms mean.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Is she wrong? She doesn't appear to be wrong.
Yeah, but like, why is she not wrong?
Yeah, like I feel like there's a movie where this makes sense, where like a government bureaucracy has taken over Godzilla and Kong stuff, and she's not really involved anymore, and she's bringing them things. She's like, there's a waveform, and they're like, well, we'll put it through the committee or something. And then she and this guy sneak in through a back way and figure out how to get the Hollow Earth. But she does seem to still be in charge of this, and like can charter a little plane to go down to Hollow Earth whenever she wants. With a friend who is not cleared by Godzilla standards, I assume, or whatever. Like Brian Tyree Henry also is allowed to go.
Yeah. And also, like, if they're on friendly enough terms that she can just come visit him, and she knows he was involved in the Mechagodzilla incident, and he is so good at this that he's better than all of the people she specifically employs for that purpose, why hasn't Monarch just hired him?
Yeah.
He's a goober.
Yeah.
The movie plays that out pretty well. Like, this man cannot be trusted.
Yeah, it's weird. He kind of sucks at this, except for all the stuff he does. But like, maybe he just has a bad vibe, you know? Like they've tried, but they're like, we don't want him to be around, actually.
I mean, he adds exactly nothing to the proceedings here. There's nothing he does.
I honestly feel like Brian Tyree Henry's a great actor. I feel like he's miscast in this role.
Yeah.
I don't think he does the sort of like wild-eyed goofball conspiracy theorist thing very well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his comedic performances are more like naturalistic and like understated, and he's not really good at bringing that energy.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Again, I think he's a good actor. I think he's a really good comic actor. I mean, he
like
first got
in
fame
Eternals,
from
a comic movie.
yeah,
Your favorite one.
It's so funny.
Mhm.
No, I mean, like I think his first big thing was Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it's Paperboy.
Like, he's really funny in that.
Yeah, and he does stuff. I feel like I see him all over the place now. Besides
He's
just
gotten
Eternals.
fairly big at this point, I think, which I'm happy for.
Yeah, he was in that Bullet Train movie, and I'm looking at his thing. That was a lot of stuff, and he's Spider-Man's dad in the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Verses.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty cool. And he's in Joker. That's right. He is like a clerk in Joker. Who's like, you remember that?
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
he's the
Joker,
one who,
come this way.
in the like asylum where Joker finds out that his mom was abused and mentally ill, and he's like, that means my mom was a bad mom who's responsible for all my problems. And I'm like, is that what that means, movie?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Getting another one of those soon. We're probably gonna get a trailer next week. You ready for that?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you ready? I'm not ready.
It's still my beating heart.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's weird. Would you listen to this podcast if it existed in universe, do you think?
No, I would just watch the news.
I don't listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, so I have to assume no.
Yeah, but Joe Rogan stuff didn't happen. You know, like if the Joe Rogan stuff started happening, I might start listening to his podcast. But also, like, this guy was making this podcast last movie when this was a secret. And he was trying to tell and Monarch didn't care. He was breaking into a company, like a private company, and going like, I'm breaking into the company. I'm gonna go through the door. This is my podcast. You know, here's an ad. Like,
and, by the way, I was gonna say go ahead, Diggins.
I was just gonna say. Then again, some stuff was secret when he was doing the conspiracy podcast last movie. People knew Godzilla existed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact that there was like some company, the company that ended up making Mechagodzilla was like hiding Godzilla stuff from the world or something. And that was what he was trying to expose. And all of that ended up being completely true. And he documented it with pictures and stuff. I don't know. Monarch is weird. I think Monarch is the real problem in these movies. They have to figure out what it is. Even in the show that's about Monarch, it doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember in this movie, there is a moment where they're in the little base and the woman who's like talking to Rebecca Hall, I can't remember who, but she's like,
oh, she was Topaz in Thor Ragnarok. That actor, Rachel House.
Are you serious? Actually,
she was. Yeah, I recognize the voice. I forgot she was in it. There's also another Marvel actor in this movie that I forgot about. The Iwi tribe leader is Shang-Chi's mom, apparently. Vala Chen. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that woman who has like a vaguely like, you know, New Zealandy accent or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is like, Congress is breathing down our ass. They're gonna shut us down. If we don't figure out this Godzilla stuff, I got senators calling me, blah blah blah, and then just nothing.
Yeah.
It is brought up in the movie, and then it doesn't mean anything. Monarch is so useless in this movie; it's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, in the defense of the movie here, like, what is Congress going to do? Ted Cruz is going to go on his podcast and complain about it?
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
And they've done that in other movies, right? I want to say in like, also, I think King of Monsters did a lot of work on Monarch stuff that got thrown out by the other ones. Didn't they got dragged to court or something by like CCH Founder? And she was like, you guys, you have to be better at doing Godzilla stuff. You're wasting all of our money. And they were like, there's even more Godzilla stuff that's going to happen. You won't believe it. And she was like, that's not true. And then it did happen. And you're like, I guess they're still in charge. That person just managed to make it through, you know, rounds and rounds of impeachment. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very silly. Very, very silly.
If you guys existed in this universe, would you run for a like pro Godzilla platform or pro King Kong platform? Like, what would you do if you're running for president?
You have to anti-Godzilla because he's an immigrant.
That's fair.
That's the problem. Fair.
Well, now I could still accept being anti-Godzilla, but he's not an immigrant. He's been here longer than we have.
That's true.
He's a Native American.
Well, we were here first, okay? Godzilla is coming into our territory.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Well, listen, people don't deny that Native Americans were here first. They deny that it matters.
Yeah.
Fair. I would find a way to make Godzilla like an immigrant. Is how he's taking our resources and our jobs,
taking our nuclear energy, our clean nuclear energy that we're trying to develop. He just comes and eats it up and eats our Tiamat and stuff. It's bullshit.
Well, that's just because Godzilla supports the fossil fuel industries.
Yeah,
it's true.
What if you were a Godzilla? Like, okay, so in all these movies, right, a Titan shows up, and Godzilla's a Titan, and he's bad, like, when he shows up, but he fights other Titans. But, like, what if, like, Oklahoma had a Titan that was nice, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
And Godzilla came and killed it. Like, that'd be a problem.
That's what it is. We'd have, like, homegrown American Titans.
Yeah.
Right? Godzilla's coming in and ruining our American
Well,
Titans.
if I remember the end of King of the Monsters correctly, there's a bunch of other Titans who bow down to Godzilla and recognize his authority, and those ones are allowed to be cool. So,
That's
like,
true.
I feel like the chill Titans would be ones that would be like, Godzilla's in charge, I'm just doing my own thing here, and Godzilla would, you know, stand sternly off in the distance and then give them a slow nod.
Right.
Like Tiamat, the one he double crosses and kills to steal his energy. Because that monster was just doing its own thing in the Arctic Circle or whatever. And then Godzilla fought it and killed it.
That is super rude of Godzilla,
yeah.
if you think about it.
They like it had a name and it's kept to its business, and yeah,
it had a layer.
Had a whole
and
thing.
Godzilla's like,
yep.
Your shit's mine now. I gotta level up. I'm sacrificing you. That's a bad king.
Bullshit.
It's a bad king.
Yeah.
Well, Tiamat should have just let him do it.
Apparently,
I think that's enablism, and I think that's bad. All right.
Well, would you?
All right.
I guess would you run on a pro or anti-Titan platform? Would you just go like, we hate these Titans, or would you be like, we have to make the Titans our friends? We can work with across the aisle to our Titan brothers and sisters, and like that's how we're gonna move forward.
The position of most people in this actual universe seems to be that Titans are just natural disasters that will happen sometimes, and there's no actual feeling about it one way or the other.
We gotta keep the stores open. We can't be living in fear of Godzilla and Tiamat and stuff. Yeah.
But like, what would you do? Like, it is one of those, like, I guess natural disasters could happen at any time, but like, you could see these and like, oh man, you know how they're like storm chasers? Would they be like Titan chasers?
For sure.
Definitely.
They'd all die really quickly of radiation poisoning, I assume. Like, you'd have to, it would be a really specific kind of job where you'd be like, 3 miles from him, never closer, never further. But yeah, I feel like we'd have a helicopter on this guy at all times that everyone would watch. You're like, oh, he's making a left turn, and then you'd get in your car and just drive away, because that means he's maybe going to come to, Maine or something. But
it's going to be problematic.
Your insurance would go up probably because Godzilla started hanging out in your neck of the woods. I don't know. Speaking of that, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of Diggins's lots of goo. Let's talk about all that goo.
All that goo.
This movie has a preponderance of goo.
Yeah.
Good word.
At the very beginning, Kong, to scare off some weird monsters that are chasing him, like rips one of them in half and dumps goo all over himself.
Yeah.
And that freaks them out for some reason, and they leave. And then what I love,
wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
You'd be freaked out.
If someone tore a human in half and poured their blood on them, I guess I would be like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
But what's really great about that scene for me is like after they leave, Kong is just like, oh man, I'm covered in goo.
Yeah.
Not again.
He seems really upset that he did it.
Yeah, he goes and takes a little shower, and Shrek All-Star plays like the beginning of that movie. Get the goo off him. But yeah, there is more goo even after that, because
there's
so much goo.
Trying to think of all the goo. There's I think the serpent that Kong fights, the big sea serpent, lets out some goo.
Yep.
Mothra has like webbing. That's not quite
Mothra's
goo, but
webbing
it's like
is
stuff.
very goo-like.
It's goo adjacent at least.
What are the
adjacent? And there's the weird membranes that protect the Iwi settlement, but like you can just tear it open with your hands. I don't know what it's protecting it from.
And human hands, not Kong hands.
Yeah.
You could use your human hands to get through. The weakest of hands.
So like
we didn't even have Project Powerhouse on our hands.
No.
Yeah, no. Nobody was wearing any rocket fists.
Yeah.
And it's like you could say it's camouflage, but it's like a big glowing wall of goo.
Yeah.
Like it's very noticeable.
Yeah. I don't know. Why do you think they went all in on goo? Little freaks? Adam
kids
Wingard's a
love
freak.
Maybe they had the asset and they're just like, well, we're going to use it.
Yeah.
Kids
They
love
had
goo.
the goo asset. And kids do.
You just
love
have to
goo.
look at all the slime they used on Nickelodeon to know that kids love goo.
That's true. And the Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles with their ooze, they loved the goo.
Mhm.
Trying to think, what else do kids love? I mean, you know what? Not pink slime. What was that like pink thing on TikTok for a while? It was like a drink or like a sauce. Remember this?
No.
All right.
I don't
It's
use
this thing that
TikTok.
happened. There was a famous pink sauce that a person invented, like an influencer, and it became a whole deal. But yeah, the kids love their goo and slime and stuff. So pretty cool. And Slimer, famously slimy.
And Slimer, yeah.
And he gooed that kid, the one from Stranger Things, who wasn't in these. Not the Stranger Things one who was in these. She did not have any Slimer encounters.
Yeah, the other main Stranger Things kid.
Yeah. How about this? This one wheel again. Landing on one of mine. Dan Stevens trying his best. Let's talk about him. In
Dan
universe,
Stevens.
do you think he's kind of annoying or is he cool? Are you psyched to see him? Or are you like, oh no, he plays his music really loud and he's going to pretend he's at a rock show?
I hated all the music so much.
I feel like every person at Monarch except for Rebecca Hall is like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know what she sees in him. I don't know what like her deal is.
He's an old
Well,
friend.
like,
So he's like, you kind of
they-
always like him.
It's pretty strongly implied they used to date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't
but that's
figure
what I'm talking
that
about.
out.
I don't see how she liked him back then. Like they have a history, but why?
I mean, he's pretty tall. That'll get you pretty far, especially,
That's true. Like,
back in the day.
we'll do anything to avoid a short king.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair.
And also, like, he's very nice to everybody. He's pretty friendly.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. He's just that kind of nice that feels like it gets annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Where you're like, man, can you relax?
Mm-hmm.
Your energy's just too much right now.
Well, and this character in the last movie was a different guy, the one that was the Viking or whatever from Norseman. And like his character had no traits. So it feels like instead they went, well, let's get a different guy, but have him have all the traits
Let's
and stuff.
do all the traits.
Yeah, let's have him be really exciting and nice and plays rock music and does this little elevator shit like he's the fucking Spider-Man. And yeah.
But also, he doesn't do anything in the
No.
movie.
He flies the plane or something, right? At one point to
At the
distract.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brings in the electric monsters to like
Mhm.
help in the final fight, but they don't do that much. It
Yeah.
really seems like
They're-
Kong, Godzilla, and Mothra probably could have handled it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're a big old distraction,
Yeah,
help out.
it's the usual kind of like if the humans never showed up, this would have gone about the same. But we did have to give them something to do.
Well, but they did have to give Kong his rocket fist, otherwise he
Mhm.
wouldn't have been able to.
That's true.
Because the rocket fist also heals frostbite.
Yeah.
It was a good rocket fist.
Well, I did want to ask one question about Dan Stevens that I was confused about. So he's a Kong, I guess, dentist or something, or veterinarian or whatever.
I thought it was like a Titan.
Yeah, I think he's a Titan
Yeah.
veterinarian. I have to imagine the vast majority of his time goes to Kong. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what other Titans are being cared for by humans.
And they're all different, right? Like it's not like they all have Kong teeth. Like I feel like he's like an ape. So it's like you can kind of guess some things about his body. But like if Tiamat starts flipping out, what are we going to do? Go x-ray him? Like figure out where his stomachs are?
In fairness, veterinarians typically handle a wide array of different
That's true.
animals.
That's true. Then my question with him is, and this I thought was so weird. Kong comes up for this center of the earth portal or whatever, and then lays down, and then they sedate Kong with like drugs, and Kong like gets knocked out, and they do the tooth surgery. I was like, that's got to come in later, right? They're gonna like drug somebody or something like that, and then they didn't.
Nope.
But that would have been. It's interesting that we've invented that. The Kong's cool with it.
Like for Kong.
Yeah.
Do you think for like Dan Stevens' whole thing is just like every couple of years they need him to come in to do a Kong thing and he gets like $500,000 for doing that?
No,
and
for
that's
sure.
his whole job is that one day he works every couple of years?
It's all hazard pay.
Yeah.
Because that job is like, incredibly dangerous.
You probably also have to live near that. Well, I guess not, because Rebecca Hall and them just show up there. Like you probably.
Well, It is at a Monarch facility though that Kong
Yeah.
shows up.
But would you?
I just want to know.
Would you live there full time if you're that guy? Like, is he also just the dentist for the facility?
He can do both. He's
just-
Kong and PB.
I'd have to
He's
assume
certified
the
human and grade A.
fundamentals. Yeah, fundamentals transfer. Like, I can't hold on. I can't imagine that this guy started as a Kong vet and never figured out the human stuff. I have a feeling he was a human dentist who they managed to transfer over his Kong knowledge. Like,
I mean, it seems more likely he was like a gorilla dentist who then became a Kong dentist.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
There would be
it's that,
gorilla
but bigger.
dentists. Yeah,
Like he was some kind of vet or something.
She says something that suggests or implies like what he used to do, but I don't remember what it is.
I think it's something completely different, like he was in the army or something like that.
She said something about how like what he did before was like wild and dangerous, and then I heard you were going to be a vet, and I thought, oh, so much calmer, but then here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how Kong knew to go there the first time.
Great question. Well,
like what was the first incident and what did Kong, like how did that play out?
I forgot about this, and it happens a little bit here. Can Kong communicate in English with the girl via sign language?
She can communicate to him.
Right.
They don't communicate via sign language. They have a psychic link, and he can sort of like understand her.
So if she told him...
But she signs to him.
Yeah, I think that does happen in one of these.
She's like, it looks good or something like that. Rest, it looks good, something like that.
Yeah.
She signs to him.
That's true.
So
he doesn't sign back. Like maybe he understands it.
He doesn't do the thing like
There's no
Rampage
way.
where he does the finger and sex thing. That gorilla looks pretty cool. It'd be weird if he said it to the little girl, but it would be funny if Dan Stevens taught him that as like a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like still
I was going to say, I don't think there's any way that his gigantic eyes can pick out the tiny detail of her hand movements.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great nitpick right there.
That's true. Yeah, they have excellent vision. But also,
like it'd be like if a fly was doing sign language at you, and you just
I guess
got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. How does it know that? Well, this is one of the scenes where it shrinks to be much smaller, so it can, so it makes sense, as opposed to the other ones where it gets really big and it's like.
Well, no, because then that scene they also do the touch fingers thing, and his finger is like larger
true.
than she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's just that they have a psychic link, and she's like signing because, like, she's just saying her thoughts out loud. Also,
yeah. All right, so let's say it's that. So she went to Kong, or somehow it was like, oh, Kong has a tummy ache. Come up here, lay low from Godzilla, and we got a guy who will take care of your tummy ache or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
So insane.
And then Kong had violent diarrhea.
Yeah.
All over the Monarch facility.
Oh man.
It was the worst day of all of their lives.
Yeah, do you think they have a Kong toilet up there just in case? Or do you think it goes into the Apollo Earth tunnel and they just let space deal with it?
They're like, Kong, squat by the ocean.
Yeah.
Just go.
Is Kong potty trained?
I'd have to assume if he can get dental work done, he's potty trained. I mean, he also doesn't have any genitals as far as we know, so maybe he doesn't need to.
Yeah, he's like a lizard. He has internal genitalia.
Yeah. He's just constantly sweating Kong piss like through his pores or something. And that's why the goo is so important. Why he's constantly covering himself in goo to mask the horrible smell. I mean, Kong must smell horrible, just in general. Like being around Kong would be a disaster. Like, yeah, you would recruit people for that job who don't have a sense of smell. Now that we're talking about King Kong's genitals. Do you think Godzilla has genitals too, or do you think it's just King Kong?
Well, it would make sense for Godzilla's genitalia to be internal.
To be hit, right? Yeah. Does this suggest that they're related, perhaps, or something?
I don't know. I mean, Godzilla. So, does Godzilla have a cloaca? I think is the big question here.
Is Godzilla anatomically correct to?
Well, some lizards have a penile sheath.
Yeah,
and they do have a pubis.
Okay.
But so I'm asking, do you think Godzilla is one of those, or do you think that he has a cloaca?
I don't know. I guess
I've never put any thought to this ever. So
what is Godzilla supposed to be? A mutated iguana or something? Or like what,
I mean, it changes depending on the continuity. Typically, he is like some kind of dinosaur that survived into modern times and then got mutated.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This Godzilla is a whole other thing because he's existed since ancient times and just like eats radiation.
Right.
So
You know
like,
not a creation of ours, a creation of nature.
That's true. Yeah. You know where we'll probably find this out because I don't know what dinosaurs have. But when we watch Theodore Rex, I feel like we'll find out whether he has a penis or not.
I don't
like.
wanna
I think
know.
he's gonna tell us at some point during the movie. If not, even just like you'll see a human woman and go boing or something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do all the time.
But like they evolved with people, right? So
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I think
it's like a Mario situation or Super Mario Brothers situation
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that one. I gotta be honest.
Speaking of Kong, I spun the wheel, landed on one of Diggins's. Kong gives you one. Let's talk about that.
So this is so when Kong goes into the trap, into the mist that we talked about before, and he fights all those other gorillas. That fight's awesome in many ways. That's when he beats a bunch of people with the kid Kong. Suko is his name that is never said out loud because the Kongs don't talk. Yeah,
I feel like we must have learned that from toys or something, right? Or you know, other supplementary material.
There's a moment where he fights one of the gorillas, one of the apes, and like knocks them off a cliff, but they're hanging on. And Kong like offers him his hand and helps him up. And it's like, oh, Kong, what a good guy. And then that guy immediately tries to stab Kong with a knife.
Yerk!
And he just kicks him right off, like falls to his death. It's like, you get one shot at Kong.
Yeah.
Like, he'll forgive one. You take that second one, you're going off the cliff.
It's tough to, especially if they have a knife, you know, what are you going to do? You know, like it's what Gaston got killed with, right? He was also fell from ledge and he had a knife. And what are you supposed to do? You know?
You kick him. Listen,
you gotta kick him.
Listen, you offer them the chance to let bygones be bygones. They don't take it. That's on them.
Yeah.
This ape was so dedicated to the cause. He was saved by Kong and then was willing to essentially go kamikaze but like die. Like there was no end game of his plan where he lives.
Yeah, the really funny part of it to me is that it's not like he waits for Kong to turn around and then tries to stab him.
Right.
Kong helps him up and he immediately picks up a knife and tries to stab Kong in the face.
Do you think the apes believe in heaven or something? And like he's going to Valhalla for this or something like that?
Do the apes worship the Norse gods? And if they don't die in battle, then they're condemned to hell.
Might as well.
Or Helheim.
Helheim, yeah. Or Musselheim or one of the hells, one of the fiery ones. I don't know. It's weird that they have a hell, but it's not the one where you go to. That's like the one where the devil lives, you know? Strange.
Well, it is where hell lives.
Well, Hela lives in Helheim, right? But then there's also Musselheim, which is like the big fiery one that looks like what Hela is.
Well, yeah, but that's where the fire giants are, right?
Exactly, yeah. We
all played God of War.
Yeah.
We know. Well, the new one.
I have not played the new one. Do you go to Musselheim in it? Is that
yes, you do.
Well, you go to Muspelheim in the first one. In
the first new one.
The first new one.
Yeah.
I've never played any of. Well, I mean, that's not true. I played a lot of the most recent one, but I didn't get that far because I get bored of it. And that's how a lot of games go. I wish I would
get bored of them.
Yeah, I get bored and stop playing them. I think maybe that Godzilla or that King Kong game from not too long ago. Remember that one from like last year that was horrible?
Oh, the really, really bad one.
Yeah, that might be able to keep my attention, but it takes a lot. Speaking of Kong, let's talk about this. Another thing on the wheel. This is one of Diggins' as well. Patriarch of the Great Ape Clan. We haven't really talked about the villain that much.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about Scar King. How do you guys feel about Scar King?
He's weird.
I felt nothing about Scar King.
I like this whip.
What?
He reminded me. You know what it is? He reminds me too much of the one from whatchamacallit, Planet of the Apes, Koba, who's just like the tough king who kind of looks like, or tough ape who kind of looks like him and wants to challenge our guy. And I like Koba, but it's like Koba again. You know what it is too? I just don't give a shit about the apes. Give me more big lizards or something. An ape? Oh, wow. It's like I've seen monkeys before.
They're too
But,
like
like,
us. Too
Yeah, I
similar.
want to see the one that's a big pile of goo or something. Have that guy be in the charge of everybody.
No, you want Hedora to show up?
Yeah, or the lobster or whatever. There's just so many other
Hedora,
guys that the fact that we're
horror
doing
of the
more
deep.
lizard or more monkeys, it's like we got better options. But yeah, no, Ghidorah is cool. He might be my new favorite one because he's so different from all the other ones. Just a big pile of goo, pollution and stuff or whatever. I don't know.
And as we mentioned, or like really as Diggins mentioned, there's so much goo in this movie.
There is a lot of oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a cameo. Maybe that's like supposed to. I mean, he's a black goo usually, but he could potentially.
Usually,
be.
Hedora's in a single movie.
Oh really? Wow. Did they lose the rights or something? Because that guy should be in every movie from now on. He should be the Mothra of these guys.
That movie did very bad and was poorly received, so they just never brought him back.
Well, now's time. I think his moment is just about to come back. Godzilla +1, and then the one is him, the big slime monster. I do think the reason I like him, and we'll get to Scar King in a second, is because he's pollution or whatever. It's so easy to be like, oh, now it's an allegory for oil and gas and stuff. Like, as opposed to like, what's your lobster guy a metaphor for? What is this movie about? Like, this is
the inhumane way we cook lobsters.
Yeah, how they're really like cockroaches from the sea.
Facts.
Like we know. But yeah, so Scar King. Diggins, did you like him?
I thought he was really fun, honestly. Like, I mean, obviously he's not like a character. Nobody in this movie is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they went out of their way to distinguish him from Kong in ways that made their fights and stuff fun. And particularly the reason why this is named this, if anyone's played the Yakuza series of video games, he really felt like he was just a character from one of those games. The way he did like his stupid poses.
Yeah.
And he kind of like danced around when he was fighting. Like he was a very agile fighter, which was fun. He wasn't just like a bigger, tougher Kong.
That's fair. His fighting style was pretty insane considering he's a kaiju and was doing like a flip with his whip when he did his big move. That was pretty impressive.
He's doing flips and shit. He's got a giant bone whip.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even convinced that like he was better. He just had Shiva. So Shamu. So that just made him better.
Which also another thing I loved is the first time he used his pain crystal.
Yeah,
he just like does like an evil point and activates the pain crystal.
And then the Shiva's like, "Oh God, it hurts so much!" And like we don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean. It's weird because the crystals could do kind of whatever. This movie was written by somebody who kind of is really into crystals, I think. And they were like, that's what this series
Marianne
needs.
Williamson got a story by credit.
God.
But then when she was done writing, she was like, I'm going to run for president again. And then she got right back into the race. Said, Dean Phillips, you try to write Godzilla v Kong 3 or whatever.
Yeah, good luck to you.
You can't even do it.
Honestly, if they had tried at all to explain what the fuck this crystal was, I would have liked it less. I like that he just has a pain crystal.
All right.
It's like, who cares? He has a pain crystal. He controls the Titan.
Did he invent the pain crystal? Did he find the pain crystal, right?
I imagine he found it. I don't think he invented it.
But why does the pain crystal exist, right? Where does it come from? Like,
can he use it on, I guess he can't use it on Godzilla Kong, otherwise he would have probably done that. So
it's just,
I think we see like Shimo's like wearing like a collar or something that the pain crystal activates.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, you know, you've convinced me on the Scar King, although I do think we just need more. I would like more opportunities for kaijus instead of monkeys, but
sure.
Okay.
I mean, I love a big dumb kaiju also, but I had fun with him in this movie.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. I also liked how he wore the bone whip thing as like a little bandolier. You know, that was pretty cool. Like it does feel like every kaiju and guy, like they really went out of their way to make sure you knew who everybody was, you know, during big fights. Like Godzilla is pink now. Kong has his big stupid fist, which we'll get to. This guy has a little bandolier, and the other Godzilla is white or whatever. White and pink, kind of. Or blue, I guess.
Blue.
Yeah. But yeah, that was handy. That was cool. But also Mothra, speaking of that, I spun the wheel again. Somehow Mothra returned. Remember that? We talked about Mothra a little bit, but he's back, baby. Or she's back.
She's back.
We love Mothra, I guess.
I do love Mothra.
You're supposed to. And like, she's the mother of these guys, or queen. Which one is it?
I mean, I think she's called Mother of Monsters, but that's just a title.
Is
she's
Godzilla?
Just kind of like sorry, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, is Godzilla the father of monsters?
He's a king of the monsters.
Right. So are they in a relationship? Could they be potentially? Like, are they the king and queen of the monsters?
You know, it's not clear.
Seems like she outranks him as mother. Mother is higher in my opinion. Than just like king of the.
She's not like the strongest monster. Like a lot of the monsters are stronger than her, but she's got kind of like the spiritual energy, and like the monsters respect her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. Did you know she was going to be in this one, Diggins? Did that get spoiled at all?
No, I mean, she was dead.
Yeah.
So I wasn't imagining she would be in it at all. And then they're like, Gia, you have to summon Mothra. And I'm like, okay.
Does it bother you? Because I know you explained why Mothra's in this because the test audiences. Does that bother you? Or you're like, I'm fine with it?
No,
I don't really care.
I like this movie because it's incredibly dumb.
Okay.
So I don't care that Mothra coming back is stupid as long as it's cool. And it was cool.
Yeah. This really is your Fast X.
This is the kind of dumb stuff I like.
Right.
Yeah. This is your Argyle. Just kidding. I don't really like Argyle as much as I think you like this. I think Argyle was fine. But you know what's not fine? Fighting Battles We Can't. That's also on the wheel, you guys.
Yeah, this is me.
What was this one?
So this is our little, it was brought up that there were little exposition dumps kind of throughout all throughout the movie, and in one of it's like, oh, we can't deal with all the crap that's going on, and like
that's like the I think you should leave version of this. Godzilla. There's so much crap. I don't even know how to deal with it all. King Kong, come over here. This fucking shit is crazy. Like.
This shit is absolutely
fucked. It's fucked.
Just fucked.
I didn't do any of it. And this is all Godzilla, okay?
I didn't destroy Rome. It was Godzilla did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix this.
I don't even know which one he was, Scar King. Remember when Scar King roars at the guys on the beach and they all run away? Run away before. You know? What do you think this guy is?
Well, hey, Godzilla and Kong exist, and they're like good guys. So maybe you think maybe this is another good guy who's just showed up.
Yeah, let's hear him out. Let's see. This guy looks pretty cool. What is it? His humongous scar and his bandolier. He seems like one of the trustworthy ones. It is, and it's so obvious too when one of these guys shows up. It's like, oh yeah, that's a bad guy. It's like a big evil dragon or something, versus like a nice, lovely moth or whatever. Yeah,
there's a nice moth. She's a good moth.
She's a wonderful moth.
Who's a good moth?
I did remember, by the way, you asked me about Godzilla being an alien, and I said I don't think there's any. In this continuity, Ghidorah was an alien, if you recall.
That's right, because they used the machine to summon him accidentally, or no, they did not do that, but they've done that in other stuff.
Right. Well, but in this one, he's an ancient alien. He
that's
landed on Earth a long, long time ago.
Yeah. In my little research of this Godzilla movie, it reminded me how much stuff I saw in one of these movies and then forgot about. And then Nat melded with the Wikipedia articles to form this new Godzilla movie where all of it happened. So I really don't remember individual details. Anyway, back to DJ thing.
Right. So during that exposition dump, Rebecca Hall says, well, Godzilla's fighting the battles we can't, referencing like there's all these monsters or the Titans attacking cities, and we just have to let Godzilla go in and destroy the city because there's no other option. And in my head, I'm like, there must be another option.
No,
there has to be perhaps a Pacific Rim style, maybe more contained. It just can't be that this is our only option. We
tried that and we made evil Mecha Godzilla, DJ.
But maybe do it better. I don't know.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like the solution because cities are just getting leveled because of this shit. And I just refuse to believe that, we have no other recourse.
How dare you?
Maybe it's my naivete.
Godzilla.
I do question Godzilla. I really, really do.
I mean, even if you like Godzilla, and if Godzilla lives in Rome and you live in California, like, how long does it take Godzilla to come save you from the big lobster that's eating your whole city? Like, probably a while.
Well, in a portion we're going to talk about later, maybe actually not very long at all.
That's true. He can just get everywhere he needs to. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I would want, I didn't figure, even if we didn't have a Mechagodzilla, we'd have guns or something, like a big turret in every city, just in case.
Guns don't work on Godzilla.
But it might work on the Star King.
Some of the monsters are lower level monsters, right? Like Godzilla should only have to come in when absolutely necessary. I don't think we're there.
I mean, we use that. What was the bomb in the second movie? The second Godzilla one.
The one that's like destroyed Boston, like entirely.
No, I'm thinking like this was something they had developed, and they were like, "We have this cool new weapon." I thought it's called the oxygen bomb or something like that. I think it's a Godzilla
destroyer.
thing.
It's a reference to the first Godzilla movie.
Yeah, like why haven't we? They gave up on it because it invented, I don't know, like powered up Rodan or Godzilla or some shit. But like, I feel like again, we're just giving up on stuff in this universe. We should try more.
That's the problem. Is that humanity's answer is Godzilla gonna Godzilla, and like that's crazy.
See, this is, you guys don't understand the nuanced message of the Monsterverse, which is that the human instinct is to seek to dominate nature and things around us, when instead we must learn to live in harmony within the cycle of nature.
We're not living in harmony. Godzilla is destroying major cities. Okay. Like, that is the deal.
Although
Godzilla is protecting us from from other evil monsters who want to kill us all, and Godzilla, he just big, and so things get destroyed when he fight. But that's not Godzilla's fault.
So we're just like putting it up to oopsie doodle. Bye Rome. Oh, bye.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anything, we at least have to get better at building buildings and stuff so that they're like lower, so they don't keep getting knocked over every time Godzilla walks through the city. I don't know how you do it, but like this world is not adapted to these guys at all. Besides the one insurance company, like it feels like these people are still on the beach during whatever the fuck this is. Like, if I was in this world and then I heard that Godzilla was fighting King Kong at the pyramids, I would just go home. So it's like, well, I'm not going to hang out. This might be another one of those days where all the monsters are going crazy. Like, they're just like, I'm not going to waste this beautiful day on, not getting flattened by Godzilla or whoever might show up.
You think that the economy is not more important than being safe from monsters?
I mean, at a certain point, you gotta, we have to sacrifice all of our elderly to Godzilla.
We can't live in fear of Godzillas, Nando. We have to get out there and do the menial jobs that mean that I get everything I want.
That's exactly right.
I must be in McDonald's as Godzilla stomps around, 15 miles away. Like I must be right there. Okay, so then if we have to live in a world where Godzilla must do this, what has become the purpose of Monarch? Because it seems like nothing. If it's just observation, they're not even like, if you had to live in a world where there's a raid siren and you have to like go underground or something, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that in the show they almost start doing and then give up because Kurt Russell shows up and they have to go into fucking Antarctica. But like, it does seem like in this universe they have developed, like, it's like, oh shit, Godzilla's coming. Everybody go under the, back into the subway. And like Pacific Rim does this way better.
They've done it. Yes, they've done it.
They do figure this stuff out, and it's kind of fun. It's the problem with these movies for me. It's just there's no curiosity when it comes to the people, and like we could do something kind of fun with them. I mean, I'm assuming there've been multiple Mechagodzillas, right? Like they didn't. Was there ever one flown by good guys that didn't turn evil?
There's all.
You mean like in all of the Godzilla
Like
continuities?
Godzilla So
the original Mechagodzilla was an evil alien. Then in the 90s, that Mechagodzilla was a robot built from the bones of a dead Godzilla that was piloted by humans and was a good guy.
Oh, so that one didn't turn evil?
No, never.
Oh, yeah, we should definitely do that then.
I love that for us, by the way.
100%.
That's amazing.
I mean, like, why aren't we drone striking Scar King or something?
Another
Like,
good question.
we gave
Well,
up
there
on
is,
all
like-
our conventional means of fighting too.
If you recall, there is one scene where some planes,
That's
some jets
true.
fire missiles at Godzilla. And in that scene, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
No, that's
God.
stupid. It's not Godzilla. Godzilla is and isn't the problem, right? There is a level of this is if we were able to take care of our shit with the other Titans, then we wouldn't need Godzilla to come and do Godzilla things.
Yeah,
So it's partially on us,
I agree.
right? Like, don't fly the jets at Godzilla, fly the jets at the Scar King, right?
Yeah, like what's the monster he fights in the beginning of the movie? That's not Tiamat. He fights something else.
Scylla.
Is that the spider or something?
Yeah, like some weird kind of spider thing.
Yeah, I feel like we could kill that with drones. I think. I don't think we're trying hard enough. What's our most deadly thing?
And if there's one thing drones are known for, it's their lack of civilian casualties.
Well,
when they
yeah.
get used.
But I mean, like, okay, how about this? Another question. Godzilla can't be nuked because he is a nuclear radiation
Yes.
like sponge. But most of the
Eats
rest of
radiation,
these,
yum yum yum.
yeah, the rest of these guys conceivably could, or at least a bunch of them, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but
you
that
I'm not saying this is a better answer, but I am saying like we have weapons that could kill the Scar King if we needed to, right?
I think honestly, I would say letting Godzilla destroy beachfront property in Rio de Janeiro is better than nuking Rio de Janeiro.
I agree. I guess part of me is like, if we could maybe get littler nukes, I don't know what they would have to be.
tactical nukes, space
Little
nukes.
tiny baby nukes. Yeah, we throw them at the Scar King
Tactical-
until he dies.
Okay, Curtis LeMay. Why don't you calm down there?
That's
That was a joke for absolutely no.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
for
gonna
you.
Google
it was
him.
for you.
It was
an
for
audience
me
of
and
one.
any of you dads out there who love your military history. That one's for
Oh.
you.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like let's say we're brainstorming. We live in, let's say it's not even New York. Let's say it's like, well, it can't be Boston because Boston's dead. It's probably not DC. I think DC also gets destroyed by Ghidorah in that second movie. Like
don't
Philly
recall.
or something. Like a city where there's like land. So we're not just building a big fence around New York, but like, what would you want to try to protect you from these guys? Is there anything?
Can we make
I'd
like a
want
big
Godzilla.
old dome? Like a really
Oh.
powerful big dome. Pacific Rim style, right? They're going to build a wall to
Like that TV show,
what's it?
The Dome.
Like that show, The Dome, yeah.
Under the
didn't-
Dome, whatever it was called.
Didn't the wall get destroyed by the creatures like 5 minutes into Pacific
Oh yeah,
Rim?
it was stupid. It was
Yeah,
like
the
Yeah.
wall was an incredibly bad idea that didn't work at all.
yeah.
Are there any things that have been created in universe that we're not using but should? I'm trying to think.
Like that they have established exists, but
Like
I mean,
that
like,
hydrogen or oxygen bomb.
there's no big old net trap. I feel like they try
No.
something like that in the first movie, but it doesn't work.
I mean, we have Godzilla scales. I feel like we could maybe borrow one of them. Like have Kong go get some extra ones from where he found that axe. It was probably the only one. Maybe we could just ask Godzilla to give us some. Then we could turn them into a big sword or something. I don't know.
What if we lure all of the monsters to the nearest ocean, so at least Godzilla could fight in the ocean?
That would
that
be
would-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could make
like
little
that.
Godzilla pens where he could hang out. Like in like go, yeah, you know what? This is actually a great idea. Because you know what we did do in one of the movies? We invented the Godzilla like magnet sound thing that could make Godzillas
Yes.
go to somewhere, and they ended up going to Boston. But like if you did that, if every city had like a little, the big field where Godzilla could fight guys, and we could even give Godzilla shit he could use, like nuclear reactors that he could power up or whatever, and just go over there. We'd turn on the alarm and they would both go. This would be such a good idea. Also, wait, can Godzilla like smell them? How does he know other guys are doing stuff?
It just seems like he has like a sense for it, right?
Right.
Like Godzilla knows, like I don't know, like very strong pheromones. I have no idea.
Well, because like I guess my question is like, is there a way to lure one kaiju? Like when you turn that thing on, does it automatically attract every kaiju on the planet, or can you like get it a smaller range so that
I
it
see.
only
Like,
gets the ones that are
localize
near
it,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be bad, I guess. You know what you could do? You know what? This is what we should be doing with Godzilla. This is my solution to Godzilla. we get that thing and just put it on a plane and fly it around the world at all times or something. And like when a Godzilla comes around, maybe he needs like 10 of them or whatever, but if the plane flies over and you lead the Godzilla or monster guy back into the ocean or wherever it's from, and then you just like have Godzilla go get it then. But you always have some of these guys going as little traps. The only problem is like when you get a Rodan or somebody that can fly, it's like they might catch the plane and eat it or something. But
that's Godzilla's biggest weakness.
Yeah.
Is that he has no ability to like, I mean, he obviously could fight aerial monsters like no problem. He's proven he could do that. But like I feel like there is a limit if there was some theoretical monster that could like get some like serious air and be able to like really compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how good is Godzilla at shooting his big laser breath thing? Like, is it like Cyclops where he could just nail a target from a million feet away? Or does he just kind of wave his head around and hope that he hits the Mothra or whatever?
It really does. He like indiscriminately just like, it's gotta hit somewhere, right?
Like, so like if someone's able to get like a good distance from Godzilla, it's going to be really hard for Godzilla to even clip him with the radioactive breath.
Yeah.
And then I think that would be enough to like, I mean, the Ghidorah can fly, Rodan can fly. There's another bug guy who can fly. And yeah, so it would make sense that like those guys are his big nemesis. Yeah.
But I don't know if it's humanity's failing or like Monarch is failing us, because like on paper their job is to take care of this and they are not. But
yeah, well, that's the thing is in the show we learn a lot about Monarch and it's still nothing. Like there's sometimes researchers and sometimes they're like covering it up and sometimes they have like weapons to fight Godzilla kind of, but like they kind of in this universe you would assume what we're getting is kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something where they're like a secret organization behind the scenes. But once there's a Godzilla thing, it's like we don't have to put the reflectors on the helicarrier anymore. People could just see it and go, oh, look, there it is. Like we heard about that from the news. But so they can't do this covering stuff up stuff anymore. They used to be cataloging Titans. That was their job in Godzilla King of the Monsters. That was the job. But then all the Titans are free now. So they just do whatever they want. Yeah. So they don't do that anymore. They kind of, I don't know, operate a toll booth in front of this portal and they will let you go into the portal. But besides that, I don't know.
Their best job right now is Kong maintenance.
Yes, that is, and Kong enhancement if they have to.
Yeah, version upgrades to Kong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and honestly, it's a shame Kong isn't the one taking care of like all the monsters because he would probably do a better job.
Oh yeah. He should be the king of the monsters because he's like, and he's friends with us too. Like we know him as opposed to Godzilla, who's this big monster that usually sides with us. But like, sometimes he just goes and does his own thing and kills Tiamat. And we're all like, what the fuck's up with Godzilla today?
Godzilla feels like a marriage of convenience, but like Kong feels like, oh, I think Kong likes us, right? Like Kong's a good hang.
Yeah. And I think Kong, like, I mean, we'll get to it in a second, but like, I think Kong could coordinate with our military to do stuff. Like Kong, I almost feel like if Kong needed to, because I think Project Powerhouse was just some fucking 10-year-old who drew that on a napkin. But like if Kong had like a little, he went to like a beach and drew in the sand the cool weapon he wanted, I think we could make it and give it to him. And he'd be like, yeah, sick. A lightsaber with a big flail at the end or something.
I love this
what
so
I've always
much.
wanted. Yeah. Like, because right now he's fashioning the axe. He's got the axe, which he just, picked up from somewhere. And he has the powerhouse glove. But like, if he didn't have that, I do think he would find weapons. Like he'd find big sticks and, bridges and whatever and throw them at guys. But yeah, like I'm surprised. You know what? That is what I'm surprised we haven't done yet in these is give Kong barrels, exploding barrels and shit that he could just toss, like Donkey Kong. But like, just because he doesn't need a gun. I'd like to give him a gun. I think eventually he'll get one. But like,
I can't wait.
He could toss stuff really well. And we should have special little grenades that only Kong knows how to use. And maybe we can even like hold that, like we can detonate them, but he tosses them. Yeah. So we could be involved.
It's like very clear that we are failing Kong.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And it's funny because like in each of these movies, they have like the which one, or at least the first one, it's like which one is stronger, Godzilla or Kong, and then Godzilla won. And it's like, all right. But then round 2, we're going to give Godzilla He's pink now, but Kong gets a big robot hand and the axe again, and it's like, which one's stronger? Godzilla again. And like I could just see 10 movies down the line, like Kong is still like wearing a humongous Iron Man suit, and he's got an army of robot Kongs behind him, and then Godzilla just lasers them all in half. It's like they're not on the same level even a little bit. So I don't really know what we're expecting from Kong besides just to be kind of the more clever one, I guess. He could climb stuff, but there's nothing for him to climb because he's too big.
I don't mind Kong being I don't mind Godzilla being the dominant one. And it makes sense for me in the universe the movies have presented, but I just don't know where they go from here.
Yeah.
I think is the problem.
Oh, we'll get to that because that is also on the wheel.
Okay.
Speaking of the wheel, let's talk about things on the wheel. I have something on the wheel. It says,
Great
bro,
transition.
wait, bro. Isn't that something? Remember that part of the
Diggins
movie?
is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Egypt section of the movie when Kong, after they give him his big fist so he can fist the Scar King.
Yeah.
He goes up to Egypt to get Godzilla's attention so they can fight him together. And I mean, first of all, Kong roars in Cairo because he's at the pyramids of Giza.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla is standing on the Rock of Gibraltar.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Kong from across literally the entire Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Kong's loud, all right? And sound travels over water. So.
Well, and they have like some sort of weird frequency that only they could communicate on that we did learn about in King of Monsters. I'm remembering this more as we talked about King of Monsters more. There was like, that was what the machine gave was. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you can hear that.
Maybe. But then Godzilla dives in the water from the Rock of Gibraltar and about 5 seconds later shows up in Egypt.
Mm.
So this is what I was saying. This is what I was saying about how fast he could show up in California.
Yeah. See, I thought when it comes to traveling, Godzilla and Kong used the portals or something. Mostly Godzilla did. But yeah, with this, maybe he is just like Aquaman. In the ocean, he's as fast as you can possibly imagine. But inland, he's like still pretty slow.
Yeah, so then Godzilla shows up, and the way this fight starts was so funny to me. Because Kong really is like a person, like holding up his hands like, whoa, bro, wait, bro, I just want to talk, bro. And then Godzilla just like tackles him. Like full on shoulder check.
Like Kong made like a face too. Like he's holding up his face like, whoa! Like
yeah.
Kong had some good facial expressions in this movie. I like what they did with Kong. I really got a lot of his personality, which I think was a good job.
Did you like his kind of like fur beard that he had?
Yeah.
He has like he's like graying a bit, right? We're getting into like Dad Kong.
Which is confusing to me because apparently if the fact that the Scar King was the guy who originally tried this uprising, I guess that great apes are immortal?
Well, but are Kong and Scar King the same like race of they could be different ones, you know? Maybe Scar King's like part Godzilla or something, and that's why he lived forever.
Maybe.
But,
I don't know.
Right, because we've seen Kong grow up in the past, like, 40, 50 years, whatever the time jump is from Skull Island to now.
Because in Skull Island, he was the size of regular Kong. Like from King Kong, which was not that big. Like, he could fit in a Broadway theater.
Right.
Yeah.
But then by the time of Godzilla v. Kong, he'd grown so big, he was about the size of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Is Kong too strong?
Is Kong too strong?
Yeah, I feel like
Godzilla wins this fight.
Yeah. But I mean, just like in general, like this idea that Godzilla and Kong are the same size feels like it kind of undermines what's fun about Kong, you know?
Oh, I agree.
Like he's way too big. I'd like a slightly smaller Kong that can like climb up Godzilla like a, you know, like that Shadow Colossus or something. But instead they just like have to be as big as each other so they can rock 'em sock 'em robot.
Hell yeah.
I mean, this fight was pretty fun. They did like wrestling moves over each other.
Oh yeah, this is when Godzilla suplexes Kong off the pyramid.
That was pretty cool.
It's so fun.
And
If
Kong
I wasn't
does.
in a theater full of people, I would have just been shouting like, "Yeah!"
Oh,
when that
dude, like
happened.
people do that. They go to movies like I feel like this is the movie where like
Yeah.
you're allowed to just like go buck wild.
No, quiet.
Well,
Everybody has to be really quiet so I can think about this, you know?
I
Save your
was
yelling and shouting. Mhm.
I was kind and respectful to my fellow theater goers, like all people are whenever I go to a theater.
Good for you, bro. Good for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kong, you were saying Godzilla won this one. I feel like Kong almost won it.
Kong got some good hits in.
If he was trying to kill Godzilla, I think he could have done it. But he's just trying to drag Godzilla back into the hole. And while he's doing that, Godzilla like decides to kill everyone in Egypt with his radioactive breath. Like, do you think there are any monuments or like monuments would be part of them too? Any like tourist thingies. I guess monuments are what these are. Is that what we call these?
Yeah.
I would call the pyramids a monument.
But like the Sydney Opera House isn't a monument, or is it?
Or like the
I
Eiffel
would call
Tower.
it a monument. Yeah, I would call those monuments.
Okay. All right.
But like monument as an idea feels like it means something else. Like it's like almost like commemorating something, but is that actually part of it? I don't know.
Well, let's look up. What is the dictionary definition of monument?
Would you call like the Burj Khalifa a monument?
So, yeah, I wouldn't. So, according to this, a statue, building, or structure erected to commemorate a famous or notable person or event.
Or which has become relevant to a social group as a part of their remembrance of historic times or cultural heritage due to its artistic, historical, political, technical, or architectural importance.
I think that's a definition we made after the Sydney Opera House was made to like be like, this is also a monument, you guys. But in reality, I feel like the pyramids are like a monument because they're like made to house a dead god or whatever people thought the pharaohs were. I don't know. But either way, my question is, which monuments are still going in this universe and which ones have been destroyed?
They're all gone.
Are they all gone?
I mean, there's
The
so
pyramids
many
one.
monuments in the world. And also most of this stuff takes place on the coast. So like, I think Mount Rushmore is fine.
But like, also, also, there's so many Titan attacks. We have a very small sample, and like Monarch's like, here's where all the Titans are, and we see like no less than like a dozen Titans in like a part of the world, like I don't know, like
but I
half
think
of the
most
Western
them,
hemisphere.
I think most of them at this point are like Tiamat in this movie. They're just kind of chilling.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think if you're a Titan that lives near the Sydney Opera House, for example, I don't remember. Has that been destroyed in these yet? I don't think so.
I don't recall.
That feels Pacific Rim to me.
That was in Pacific Rim. Yeah.
Where was the big fight at the end of Godzilla v Kong?
It was in Hong Kong, wasn't it?
It was, right? Oh, yeah, okay.
Or was it Shanghai? It was somewhere in China.
Somewhere in China, you're right. Yeah. So then if that's the case, then like, yeah, a lot of the rest of this is taking place in America. And then you had that. So yeah, we probably didn't make it to Australia. Like we didn't have time. But if we did, I feel like there would be like, it almost feels like there is like one Titan kind of zoned to each landmark. And I bet we do have one at the like Mount Rushmore who's just throwing a ball at the wall, waiting for something interesting to happen. But Mount Rushmore sucks, so he doesn't
My
really.
dude's chilling.
Yeah, like he was like, oh, this mountain with all the presidents, that must be important. No, not really. It's just a big tourist trap. And but yeah, like does Las Vegas have one of these? But he's cool, you know? Like we're excited about him. They put like rides on him.
There's a Titan who showed up to Vegas meant to destroy it, but ended up getting addicted to sports gambling.
Yeah.
Just placing bets all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we've actually ruined this Titan's life. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. He had to sell his power punch glove or whatever to a
So
pawn shop.
problematic.
It's not good that they did that to him. Like, what city do you think in America would have the best Titan? Strongest and then most fun. So both, but like, two categories. I'd be really concerned about the Philadelphia Titan. Like, I think that Titan might be the most dangerous of all.
Philadelphia is the city that
Texas.
beat up that robot.
Yep, we killed the robot and
There's a sign
Santa
about that at
Claus.
WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what that would be. What's like their What's the Philadelphia animal? Gritty?
Eagle?
An eagle. Oh, yeah.
Oh, gritty. Yeah, there's just gonna be a big gritty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be a mess. But then which one would be the coolest one? Which one would we all like? Like,
What's the like friendly city?
in Colorado, places like that. Everything's kind of
The
chill.
pot titan.
Yeah.
He's just high out of his mind all the time.
Have we ever tried that? Have we ever tried like drugging? You can drug Kong.
Have we ever tried hotboxing
Yeah.
Godzilla?
That might work, you know? Actually, that feels like the best idea we've had so far is like just, you know, lure Kong to a field, and then turns out the field is all weed and we burn it, and then he just like, you know, becomes chill for a second.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
It might beat the Scar King for sure. Like I think it could get him.
But that chain whip.
Yeah, I mean we'd have to make
So
but then
powerful.
it is a pretty cool whip.
It's not a chain, it's made out of bones.
Oh my god.
Bones are the chain of the bones, you know? Like
the spine is the chain
spine
of the body.
Yeah, the spine might as well be the chain. Speaking of the wheel, I spun the wheel again. I landed on the Iwi of the Hollow Earth. I didn't want to talk about them a little bit more.
Okay.
The fuck is going on with these guys? What, like, this is one of those things that they just also throw into these movies. It's like, by the way, secret tribe of people living underground in the Hollow Earth, access to crystals.
Mm-hmm.
It can communicate with this girl telepathically.
Yep. And with each other.
Yeah, and with each other.
But not to non-Iwi. It is a strictly Iwi and Kong based telepathy. And I guess maybe Mothra?
Yeah.
But they can also read anyone's thoughts.
Right.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah, because the guy says, you know, she can read your mind, right? Or she's like, yeah.
No. I don't think it's that she. No. It's not that she can read his mind. It's that he's speaking out loud, and she's like, she can understand you.
Yeah,
I think understand English.
Apparently,
maybe they understand
English.
Maybe they mind melded with the little girl, and then they like got English from her.
Yeah, maybe they're just reading Gia's mind as she's listening.
Yeah,
and they can understand what he's saying.
See, I find it more likely they could just read everyone's mind.
That would be helpful.
That feels like a more straight line for some reason to me.
I'm just saying there's no evidence to suggest that they can read everyone's mind. There's no evidence to suggest they can read each other's minds. They can just communicate telepathically.
Right.
So somehow they know what anyone is saying, though. Right? Maybe
they're just like going with it. You know, maybe they're nodding along and being like, And then they all look at each other afterwards and like, what do you think that was? Seems like they're going to use a big robot or something. I don't know.
Could you imagine that one? You know they can understand you, right? How?
Yeah.
Explain that one to me. How can they understand me right now with my English words?
Turns out English
Fucking crystals, man.
Fucking crystals. You see what they did with that stone? Just gravity. They're manipulating gravity.
I just feel like there must have been easier ways to move that stone than use your magic crystals to alter gravity.
I agree.
I also agree. But I mean, if you have magic crystals, you use them when you can, you know? Like,
I guess,
that's
pretty
fair.
fun.
When all you have are magic crystals, every problem looks like altering gravity.
Yeah. Oh, man. What do you think, what do you think these guys thought when these people showed up? Were they just like, oh, yeah, people, you know? Because they haven't seen, how long has it been since these people saw, the Iwi people saw anybody besides the apes and stuff? Because they were also in ape jail, right? Or were they outside of ape jail?
They were outside of ape jail.
But our people, like our monarch people, had never bumped into them. They were still a secret.
They were in the film that Mothra makes. That
right.
I think must stop them from being detected, even though it's a big glowing blue silk.
Yeah. Yeah. What are we doing down there? Like, what's Monarch looking for, or are we just building big robot hands and stuff?
I think so.
It's version upgrades to Kong.
Yeah,
they're exclusively in the Kong upgrade game. It would seem.
It's got to be fair. It's not fair yet. He doesn't have a big set of wings and a Buster Sword or whatever.
Oh, give Kong a Buster Sword, please, please.
I mean, he's already got his axe.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, but can you imagine like the axe is like basically a hand axe. Imagine a sword the length of Kong. Like that would be amazing.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
The axe is good too. I do think we I don't want to say we peaked with axe, but we gave him a weapon that can absorb Godzilla's it's so good. And he still can't fucking win. And then we gave him like extra punch, and for some reason that's supposed to be as cool. Not even close.
Well, it helps him beat up another monkey. I mean, obviously,
that's
as
true.
we saw, still loses to Godzilla.
Yeah.
They're so lucky, by the way, Kong got frostbite like to a hand. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if it was like his leg was targeted. It's like, his leg's like off frostbitten, and they're like, I got extra arm, but I don't have extra leg.
Yeah.
We're an arm game only.
I do love that only at the very last minute do they provide any reason why this would help his hand at all.
Mm-hmm.
Where like as they're putting it on, Dan Stevens like it's injecting him with the goo that makes his arm better.
Oh my god, more goo!
I'm like, why didn't you lead with it has arm make better goo?
Because if he talks about it too much, he's out of a job. Because you can put that on teeth and it regrows teeth too. It's really handy. I'm like, yeah. Do you think if you lived in Godzilla world, would you want to make your city pretty boring? So it feels like
not attractive.
Yeah, they go to the most exciting cities to do backflips and shit off the buildings, but like,
you have your mayor's just mandates that all new construction must be brutalism.
Yeah, no more sexy kids on the beach having fun. You know, none of that. We have to make sure the establishing shot for the Godzilla fight is as boring as possible because they probably won't show up then. But it has to be like fun and cool and all these.
We figured out that the Titans actually prefer a kind of like pristine establishing shot, like a unique skyline, anything that makes the hypothetical visual representation of this more aesthetically appealing.
Absolutely.
So the more boring your city is, the less likely it is to get attacked.
Yeah. I would feel so bummed if I moved to like Omaha or something, and then the next day Godzilla showed up there. Like, I never thought this would happen.
Come on, man.
I mean, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, I would move inland, right?
Right.
That's because you imagine like Godzilla wouldn't make the trek unless like a Titan fell from the sky and landed in Omaha, Nebraska, right? That's the issue.
I guess with all these portals though, it's like all bets are off.
Yeah, they could just pop up anywhere.
Yeah.
If they come from Hollow Earth.
I mean, do you think by the next movie, I mean, we won't because these movies all forget what all the stuff that happened in the last one, but we could invent like a cool tunnel system to like send stuff through the Hollow Earth and whatever.
It does seem like we could probably do travel very quickly if we used Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Considering you can hop in one portal in the Iwi tribe, go to Egypt, then hop back down, hop into another portal in the Iwi tribe and end up in Brazil.
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
And like, it doesn't seem to require any energy. You just have to be able to get into the portal. But like, I feel like our guy wasn't steering the plane that they were all about to explode in when they were going down there the first time. Just kind of, you get in and the portal does the work. So, I mean, I don't think we could like jump into it. Like, could we?
Well, I think you would then fall out of the hole in the ceiling and die.
We'd have to put a tarp down or something, or like a big pool, like in that Tomorrow War movie. But like once that's down, it can be a really fun way to travel.
Also, as long as we're talking about the Iwi, I do also want to note that like Brian Tyree Henry's character Bernie, his thing is he's like shooting a documentary about all this.
Yeah.
And he's doing it in a really stupid way where he's like saying the narration while he's filming. And it's like, you do that in post, guy.
I was going to say, it's very hacky.
But then Dan Stevens at one point is like, are you going to post this on your blog? Because this is an untouched tribe. And if people know about it, then maybe they can come here and ruin it. And then it's not good anymore. And I'm like, first of all, how is anyone getting to Hollow Earth?
Yeah.
And secondly, like you would expect there to be the scene then, like as they're leaving Hollow Earth, Brian Tyree Henry throws his camera out of the airplane or whatever.
Yeah.
Be like, I agree, this should remain unspoiled. Never comes up again.
Well, I mean, he's right to not do that because it's bullshit. Like Dan Stevens, or whatever his name was, Tracker or Tripster or whatever. What was his name?
Trapper.
That's it. Tracker is the show that they are advertising. Right. I keep forgetting Trapper. Yeah. Which is a weird name because he doesn't trap, he's like whatever. Trapper is like saying this. And if I'm Brady Tyree Henry, I'm like, oh, okay. But I can like work with you, right? Because this was going to be my job. I'm not just doing this for fun. This is my livelihood.
Yeah.
So you're going to employ me then? And then the other thing is like, oh, people will come down here and start looking for him. Are people not already interested in the dinosaurs that are down here? Who's going to be like, whoa, an ancient tribe next to those big giant plants that eat people? Now I'm curious. If anything, I'd be like, oh, never mind. It seems like kind of boring down there. There's people. That can't be that cool.
Right? This is as lame as it could possibly be.
Like, I guess maybe there would be like the American instinct to like colonize and manifest destiny, destroy it, because it's just like, there's people there must be something we want. But besides, and I mean, we would want the gravity crystal, to be fair. Like that shit would be pretty valuable.
Oh yeah, no, we would launch an invasion for the magic crystals, but
just cut that part out of the documentary. It's fine.
Also, I feel like Brian Tyree Henry is not the person who's going to tell the American government about the magic crystals. When you file your Monarch report, that's when they're going to learn about it.
Yeah, Congress is going to be super interested at that point.
Yeah, it's weird because in one of the movies, like I think we talked about this before, like they get the Monarch reports to the government in one of the movies, and government's like, Monarch, you're not doing a good job. And by now, I think Monarch is just the government, right? Like this is taken over so much of industry, or at least it should. That like you would assume it doesn't matter what they want to do. Like Monarch could tell them, no, there's not anything down there. It's just a big black void. And what are they going to do? Like send some guys? They don't have the big planes that fly. Where is I going with this? I don't know. I mean, this is why we need a Monarch president, or like like somebody from the organization that comes in, like a technocrat. That'd be cool. Yeah. Could any of these guys run for president, you think?
Well, I haven't seen the show. Could like Kurt Russell's character run for president?
He's like a crackpot, kind of. He could have back when he was Wyatt Russell, but when he's Kurt Russell, people wouldn't believe him.
Okay.
What's his name? Kyle Chandler. Does he survive these?
Yeah, but we haven't seen him since King of the Monsters, I don't think.
Yeah, he could maybe be president then, if he made it. Bradley Whitford. He used to work for the president in West Wing. He probably died in that movie, though.
Yeah, and he became chief of staff in the finale.
That's right. And he worked with Agent Carter in the What If show to make super soldiers. So he's everywhere. I
should have known.
You did remember that because they made the guy look like him, too. And I was like, why did they do that? He wasn't in the first one. Is that the What If? What if Bradley Whitford was here? But,
yeah, that's actually it.
Yeah. Last thing on the wheel here, Pink Goku Godzilla. We talked about it a little bit, but what did we think of Godzilla in this overall? Lowest Godzilla time, like we said, 8 minutes of Godzilla-ing. Was the Godzilla-ing quality?
I was fine with it. Actually, like Diggins, I would get your take. You're like a Kong stan more, right? Or are you more Kong or more? Oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot.
It's been just an hour since we recorded the beginning of this when he said that, so obviously. Yeah. How have you forgotten? You're
the Godzilla boy. Mm-hmm. Were you in any way let down by the lack of Godzilla or the fact that they just gave him like a new color? Like, how did you feel about Godzilla's representation?
I mean, did I want more Godzilla? Of course. Every time Godzilla's not on the screen, I'm asking, where's Godzilla?
Right.
But I feel like the quality of the Godzilla we do get is so high that I was still pretty happy by the end. Again, I have brought this up so many times, but I really must emphasize this. Godzilla does suplex Kong.
Yeah. Even though Kong is the monkey, like I feel like that would be a Kong. If anything, Kong should learn some wrestling moves. We should teach Kong karate.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us? Yeah. Kong Maga or like, Tai Kong Do. They all work.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we need somebody to train him. And then Godzilla does his little lumbering over to him. And then he does Tai Chi and flips Godzilla over using his own mass or whatever.
Oh, this is terrible.
I can't believe in all that riffing, neither of us said Kung Fu.
That is well, I mean, that's what they'd have to call it in universe. But yeah, that would be what it would be. Because he's supposed to be the agile monkey one instead of just another Godzilla, but human shaped instead of lizard shaped. But yeah. Instead, we gave him an axe and now a punching glove. We should at least show him how to use punch. I mean, I don't know. He probably knows how to punch, but
I don't know. I'm down with either gun or Buster Sword. Of the two things I've heard on this pod, I'm
give
there.
Kong a gun.
Yeah, the gun would be fun.
Oh, the gun would be amazing.
I don't know if I would want to give Kong. If the other thing I might want to give Kong is like, remember those toys? I don't know if they still exist. I probably still do. They were called moon shoes, where they were like kind of like a big spring on each of your feet, and you would jump around. It was like a little trampoline on your feet. I would like to give Kong some ups, like give him some.
You want to give him moon boots?
Yeah, I want to give him moon boots.
He could do like full people's elbow, like get up to like top rope height and just boom.
Basically, I want Kong to have any advantage whatsoever because he can't be stronger than Godzilla and he can't have range, so he has to have speed or agility or something. And that would be one of the things we could.
Or maybe Kong just has to accept that he'll never be as good as Godzilla because he. I
mean, that's fair.
I'm fine with Godzilla being a number 2, but there's a point where it has to be close. Like, I don't know if we're gonna do. Like, we're not gonna do.
Well, we
Godzilla
know you'd be fine
Kong
with
2.
Godzilla at number 2, DJ, because you're such a huge Kong fan.
Kong at number 2. Sorry, I'm fine with Godzilla 1, Kong 2, but we're not getting like a Godzilla v Kong 2.
I mean,
right?
Maybe we are. I mean, this movie made a pretty good amount of money, but I don't know where they go with these.
That's what I mean. Like there'll be more of these, but the premise has to be, how do they fight again?
Yeah.
Like, I know they don't like each other, but it just, you would need.
I mean,
we've already done the Batman v Superman.
Well, like, did we do mind control yet? Someone used the pain crystal on Godzilla or Kong? I think that would be
bad. That's not bad.
What if, can we red pill Kong or something? Like, just show him stuff to turn him evil, and then
that's really good.
Yeah.
just start hooking him up with Joe Rogan podcasts directly to his brain.
Yeah, best idea so far. Easily.
And I mean, there are plenty of like doppelganger Godzillas who can show up and like, be evil.
Yeah, what's the one? Gigan? Is that one of them? Or
Gigan is not a doppelganger Godzilla. Gigan's just an evil monster.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, you're talking about one that's just like another Godzilla, but with a big crystal or whatever.
Yeah, Space Godzilla. That's Space Godzilla. Godzilla, but with big crystal shoulder pads.
Yeah. And then, yeah, if that guy shows up, I feel like we need to give Kong some edge or something besides more Iron Man stuff. They really did give him an Iron Man arm, too. I feel like
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Gave him a rocket punch. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Like a laser beam or something. That's what I asked for.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Could Kong just use the Hadron Collider as a weapon? Probably too small.
Oh, that'd be so cool if he like picked it up out of the ground and shot particles at somebody. That should be what Kong is good at, is like adapting to the environment and like picking up the Space Needle or whatever and using it as a bat. Like instead, that's what the Scar King's able to do for some reason, even though he's never seen a building before. And he's just like, oh, I could probably whip this at this guy immediately. Fuck that guy. I don't like the Scar King anymore. It makes Kong look stupid. Sucks. Yeah. What do you think we'll get with the new one? If you had to think of one like idea that you think they'll probably put in the next one, because this one I think did make a couple hundred. I think it's made 300 million already, which is definitely enough to clear its budget. So, and which identical white guy will replace Dan Stevens? Who's left? Which of our Joel Kinnaman? Maybe we could get him from Suicide Squad.
Who's the one that you really like, and you're incredulous that I don't know him and never recognize him?
This I don't even know. Who is this? Who is this charismatic fellow?
Some guy. He was in that Expendables 3.
Oh, that guy. He's too big for this. I think that you're talking about the Twisters, whatever his name is, Glenn Powell. Yeah,
Glenn Powell. Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of on LA. Yeah, I do think he's too big of a star. I think you need somebody who's like a second tier.
A man
guy.
in Twisters is too big of a star for a Godzilla Kong movie.
I mean, you say that now, but when Twisters is the big hot hit of the summer, I mean, he was, Top Gun. That was pretty big, but
Did you see what the quick tangent, like, how they have the different like cardboard whatever?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the Twisters one? Diggins, did you see this?
No, what is it?
It's a big booth where you can get like air blown onto you.
Yeah.
I just put it in the chat. They can have a little tube and you can go in and get air blown on you. Just like in Twisters.
I guess pretty cool. It's going to break immediately and smell awful.
I was going to say, the most like least sanitary thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. I mean, like,
terrible.
If somebody does drop like a joint or something in there, it will be a pretty funny thing to watch. Like, I don't even know what grandma would be going to see this week, or what's like a movie like Eat, Pray, Love or something that's like in theaters now. And it's like,
the third best Marigold Hotel.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe they're going to see that Civil War movie because they want to learn something about the world or whatever. And let me see what this wind machine is. And then they just leave Civil War terrified because it actually, maybe it will happen, maybe we're living it right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've never done this before, besides that it will break immediately and just be a big tube and people go, what's that? It'll have like a broom in it because no one uses it anymore. It'll be stupid. Kids will have sex in it or something.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, the employees will have sex in it after the day is done. Like everybody's gone.
Everybody's on. Power up the wind tube.
Yeah.
I love there's a little, if you see the picture, there's a big like watch your step on the bottom that had to make it through standards and practices because if someone trips up with this 1 foot step.
Mm-hmm. And also like, what if they I feel like it would be pretty cool if this not cool, it'd be sad if this cut somebody in half, but like there's probably a reason they don't make these. It doesn't seem feasible. For a lot of reasons, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll be cool.
This is going to be in one theater in Paducah, Kentucky, a town with a very small population, just to narrow the chance of bad shit going down.
You know what's going to be impossible to do is clean it when someone throws up in it or something. Because all the throw up's going to go into the fan or whatever.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I would think that somebody was probably going to take a bunch of $1 bills and act like they're in that old game show.
Yeah, I love that
they
game
just let
show.
the money flow around and they're trying to catch it.
That's what I want to do.
It's like they're trying to invent stuff for a new Final Destination movie to kill the kids in it. Because this would be so good for that. There would be an electrical fire and it would just burn the kids from below. And then, that's why they used to be cool. They need to make more of those movies. Look at all the cool theater standees we have now. Ugh. I don't know, man. They'll probably, this Twisters movie, it's going to be so cool.
Very bad.
Also, why not just a fan? Just like a fan underneath you. Why does it have to be a tube? Why do we have to isolate the wind? It's not unprecedented that we put a fan out, That's how they take pictures of Marilyn Monroe's and stuff. You just put a fan in front of them and then it looks windy. Nobody's like, that wind's not coming from below or whatever. Also, unless they're putting steam in it or whatever, you're not going to be able to see where it's going unless it is. That'd be weird if they put if it was colored smoke. This whole thing's so stupid. I hope I get to one before they get stolen or broken or sexed in or whatever.
Oh yeah, these aren't going to last a day. There's just no way. Yeah. They put one in Philly. It's everyone's.
Oh my god! Yeah,
there's just no way.
People take it home from the first movie, whatever the next movie is that's out that people want to see. Probably this. People just go, yeah, I'm gonna take that home with me. And then, would you have one in your house if you found one on the street?
Would I have a big wind tube?
Yeah, would you take it home with you because it's funny? Do you think you'd enjoy any of the wind tubing? Or you ever have a hard day at work and just go home and enjoy some tube, Just get some tube time in.
It's called tubular.
Yeah.
Listen, we're obviously all thinking it. Probably feels pretty good to be in there naked, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I'm sure the people that have those, those things where you do skydiving. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They must have done that with them. Although there's a lot of risk potentially. Something could go horribly wrong. I don't know how much steps, like where the grates are. I don't know. They should probably put that in the movie, though. Maybe that could be it. Maybe Godzilla or Kong could have fans that he could use to fly.
Oh, Godzilla
cool.
jetpack.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Fuck it. Make him fly. We have planes and stuff. Especially with these planes. He should use them as little skates to fly or something. Because they're about the size of his foot. I would
love that. If Kong just steps on two big planes and starts like flying through the air with them, I would love that.
Because when they do that in the movie, they do this with the planes. He's like, first of all, in the last movie, they used the planes as a defibrillator because it had like electricity powers or something, which was cool.
Also, sure, it did.
And yeah, Madam Web already did it better, but whatever. Yeah. We don't even have to talk about that. But the idea that this one, Dan Stevens is like, I'm going to get in the plane and do something. And they're like, you're going to shoot her at him? And he's like, no, I'm going to do something even crazier. I'm like, oh, he's going to fly Godzilla up or something and like get under Godzilla's little butt and fly him into the, but no, he just like gets the little pterodons and uses them to kill somebody for 1 second. It's so funny how much the people aren't even in the last bit of the movie. Yeah, they never even go to Rio. They don't know where they went.
And they shouldn't be. That's true.
Hope you guys had fun up there. Is the Scar King dead? We don't know.
Yeah, Mothra shows back up, and they're just like, I guess that means it's good.
Yeah.
You guys good?
What were they like? Just on their phones? Like, can we get a signal down here? Want to see Twitter? What's trending right now? Rio de Janeiro, Scar King backflip building explode punch. All right, that sounds bad. Gay city. Uh-oh. Godzilla. He wouldn't. Godzilla would twerk for sure. He would be a hero.
Yeah, Godzilla would twerk.
Yeah, maybe with that dump truck ass.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he could do and be, that would be how he would be the protector of humanity. I don't know, man. This movie's weird. Is it woke?
Okay. Godzilla's pink, so yes.
Yeah, Godzilla is pink.
But he's pink because he's Goku.
Yeah.
That makes it even more woke. There's nothing more woke than Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z is kind of woke.
I don't think Dragon Ball Z is considered woke. I think Dragon Ball Z has crossover appeal.
They haven't found out about it yet. They'll be like, this is way too woke.
Yeah, getting to the heart of whether Dragon Ball Z is woke. I feel like Dragon Ball Z can't be that woke. It has to have some weird fucking blackface character or something.
Yeah, it does.
I don't watch enough Dragon Ball Z to know about these guys.
Yeah, Mr. Popo, it's bad.
Okay.
Native people save the day. That's woke.
It's pretty woke.
That's super woke.
It's true. Crystals, pretty woke.
Yeah, that's really woke.
I feel like I had an argument against its wokeness, but I can't remember what it was.
And like even the sensitivity to their to like what the native people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's woke. I don't think there's a lot of arguments for it. And I know like not woke and anti-woke are the same thing, but it just feels like there's a lot of wokeness going on in this movie.
Ape slavery is bad. Woke.
Yeah.
You know what's not woke about this movie? I don't know, but I don't know if this counts as not woke. No America, really, right? All the Godzilla fighting and stuff have Egypt, Rio de Janeiro, the Colosseum, and the Arctic Circle, I guess, and the Hollow Earth.
It makes the movie woke, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that maybe is a woke argument for like worldly Godzilla. And Kong.
A Godzilla for all kinds.
Yeah,
but it was successful.
That's true. It did make a lot of money, and
so woke.
No, that makes it not woke.
No,
go woke, go broke.
Oh, go broke. Right. I always get this one wrong. I still think it's woke.
How about it's woke because podcasters? Is that something? Podcasts aren't woke though. They're the opposite of woke a lot of the time. Conspiracy podcasters. That's not woke.
I think we did a bit earlier about how Bernie definitely could just guessed it on Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm. What about the family thing? The mother stuff. I don't know. That could be woke, but not really. I bet there's something. Free Godzilla healthcare.
I think there's enough here that it's woke.
Yeah.
Destroying the pyramids. That's woke.
How is that woke?
Is it woke? Whoa, because they're like a monument to slavery or something. Maybe. I could see it. Yeah, built by slaves.
Do we count Egypt when we racistly talk about Western civilization?
That's a good question. I'd have to ask
a really good question.
The anti-wokesters. I'm sure they changed their opinion on that one pretty frequently. Yeah, remember when they got all mad that the Cleopatra in that movie was black or something?
Is that a thing that got mad?
Yeah, it was like a Netflix movie they made with Cleopatra, and they cast a black woman, and people got real mad. So I don't know what that means, but Egypt, they got opinions, you know?
Well, ancient Egypt was, I mean, you know, it's hard to say with absolute certainty, but they were probably darker skinned than modern Egyptians who are more Arabic in genealogy.
I think we go with woke.
I think it's woke too.
That's my verdict.
But I can't come up with a great... I don't have like one haymaker example for like.
I know woke. That's the problem, but I think there's enough little ones to be like it's woke. Like you could see someone building the argument for it's like, don't take your kids to Godzilla. It's the woke movie of the summer. I mean, it's Godzilla's pink now. What happened to the gender roles? Godzilla's pink, and they have these native people in it. We don't even know what's going on. Like I see it all over.
Pink Godzilla did get some internet like, what are they doing, feminizing Godzilla or something? So you know.
Yeah, it's just like too on the nose.
I mean, what we need is like to find out about the genitals. That's what we need. Like we were saying, we need to figure out who's got what genitals, figure out what bathrooms they go to.
And then we'll know which monsters can participate in which sports.
Yes, exactly. That's what's most important is like that. Yeah. Anything else about Godzilla X Kong or whatever the fuck this movie's called?
Godzilla Kong.
Godzilla shoot collaboration Kong.
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't hate it.
I like this movie.
Nah,
we know.
It's okay. I think like for people that are like, should I see it? When it's on TV, it's like a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're in a movie theater, you probably enjoy it.
Listen,
it's loud.
If you heard me say the words Godzilla suplexes Kong and you were like, I'm in, see it in a theater.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
How long was it? It was 2 hours and change, probably.
2 hours. It should have been 90, but whatever. I can only get so much.
What could we cut out? All the bullshit with the people? Maybe.
Yeah,
probably.
Diggins said it earlier. People bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I love having them. I love having them in these
Me too.
movies.
I like watching them try to be interesting and try to act against Kong, and you know. I
think the movies would be less stupid if they didn't have the people in them, and that would make me sad.
Yeah, I think if anything, they should go smaller. Like have a less important person with less important problems that we cut to instead of Godzilla. Like somebody trying to find his phone in a car or something. And it's like,
well, that's good.
What's he up to? And then it's like Godzilla flying around and shit. You gotta go back and check on him. Like, I think it's between the seats. He gets his flashlight out, but his flashlight was the phone, so he doesn't know how to get it.
You know, oh god.
Yeah, that's catch-22. But do you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Let's do it.
All right, let's recommend some things. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I think I had mentioned this previously as a thing I was going to watch, but I'm going to officially recommend it because I like it and I think it's good. Are you guys familiar with a show called The Traitors?
No. Yes. Well, I'm familiar with it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. You like it?
I love it. So it is, I believe, because we get all of our best...
It has your guy with your favorite last name.
That's right. Yeah. That thing you're saying constantly to all of us.
Yeah, Wilder. I just love the last name Wilder. It's like, let's go Wilder. So it's I believe it's a show that we stole from the UK because they have all the best shows.
Yeah.
And so there's a US version where so the premise is basically it's more or less if you ever played like the board game like One Night Ultimate Werewolf or like Mafia or for like Blood on the Clock Tower for a really deep cut. But it's a hidden identity game where there's like a bunch of celebrities that are all from these like various like shows. Like there's the Gambit is like really big. You got The Bachelor, Love Island, Survivor, The Challenge, Bling Empire, which seems to be like a real life version of Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, I've seen
all the housewives shows. Married to Medicine, which is like a housewife shows but for like doctors. It's like Basketball Wives but instead doctors.
Doctors is just a job. Like, it's not like basketball. What's next? Like, accountant, wives. Like, there's a lot of those. They just hang out, I guess, most of the time when they're not with their husband. That is the thing that apparently defines them. But whatever else is interesting about them, I don't know.
So it's like the Avengers of reality TV shows. They bring all these people together, and then there's like 20 of them. And then there's some wild cards in there. Like there's Deontay Wilder, who's like a former heavyweight boxer. There's like a former speaker of the House of Commons they have here. It's like really like a who's who of like wherever the fuck will you find people who will say yes. And they're playing this like werewolf style, this hidden identity style game. Where there's like a big group of people and there are traitors among them, and like every night the traitors kill someone, and then during the day the people vote to eliminate someone. And I think it's fun.
How much do we know watching it about who's the traitor? Oh, so we know from the beginning who the... Oh, okay. I guess it would be hard to watch without knowing.
It makes the show better because this show like shouldn't be like a guessing game. Like I've talked like way back when this premiered on Netflix. I talked about a show on Netflix called The Mole.
Yeah.
And that was another one, but you didn't know who the mole was. But that one works for that show for different reasons because this show focuses less on the like competition. It's more of the reality style portion, which I think is good because they're all reality TV show stars. But what I think is fun is if you've ever played these games and you kind of understand like what the strategy is and the meta, and like how you should play them, a lot of these people are really bad at it. They're not all bad at it, but most of them are bad at it. Like they go in with such confidence, like this guy's a traitor, I know it, and then it's revealed that they're not, and their whole world just like collapses down. Right? It's just like they don't know what to do anymore. It's like, oh, what have I done? And it's fun seeing all of like the pitfalls of like how the good team is called like the faithful. It's fun to see how like the faithful are bad, and also the traitors also are bad. They're not perfect either. Like no one's like nailing it in this game, which is amazing. And then so outside of that portion of the show, the rest of it is more like Survivor, the challenge. Like there's a game you all have to play, like a physical activity you all have to do. Right. There's prize money involved, and you could go for things like community idols, and you know that's also part of the drama. So I'm watching season 2. Still like in the middle of it. I haven't finished it yet, but what I've like, I'm not spoiled yet. I've been like very careful about what I Google, but what I've been told is that season 2 is very good because it has like a lot of different people from a lot of things that like you might be like, if you've watched any amount of reality TV, you might go and be like, I know that guy. So like Michelle and I watched because one of the Bachelor leads is in the show, and it's like watching him on the show is like very interesting. But then Michelle was like, oh, that's Bergie from Love Island, right? And there was like I recognize like Deontay Wilder, who's a former boxer. So like that's like a fun aspect of it too, where it's like you might have some familiarity with some of the characters depending on like what things you've watched. Like I don't know if this would apply for you too, but if you more regularly watch reality television, you might recognize someone.
I mean, you said Bergie, and I was immediately like, I know who that is. That's a human being's name, and not a name of like a Godzilla friend. And you know what? Even more surprising to me? Oh man! Apparently, I just assumed this was a Fergie kind of name.
No.
But nah, his name is Karsten Bergerson. Good for him.
I could be wrong about this. I'm fairly certain I've never watched an entire episode of a reality TV show ever in my entire life.
Okay, fair enough.
It's probably for the best.
Well, for those who are interested, there's like there were a couple people on the Mostly Nitpicking Discord who recommended this, but I'm really enjoying it. I might go back and watch season 1 after this, even though I've heard it's like less good. But also, and I've probably like buried the lead here, it's hosted by Alan Cumming, and he's fucking amazing. He's like,
yeah.
I don't even. So like I only know Alan Cumming the actor. I wasn't aware of like Alan Cumming the like esoteric Scotsman who just like wears big outfits and is just like a fancy lad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he like adopted this character for this show, but I love it so much.
Well, I love it so much. He did Spy Kids, and they had his Flag of Floop character, and they just wore all those clothes forever. And he was like, I'm going to be this guy, evil Willy Wonka, or whatever that guy was.
You heard it here first, folks. DJ loves Cumming.
I love Cumming so much. But like he's great. Like if he's not the best part of the show, he's like the second or third best part of the show. Like sometimes these shows have like very bad hosts. So like Nando, right? Love is Blind. We hate the Lachey's. They're bad hosts.
Yeah, they're bad hosts.
They drag
because they're not hosts. They're scientists performing an experiment. You know, they're getting to the bottom of this relationship thing, and they're only getting worse. It's like they're trying to mine the element that makes relationships fall apart for something. Use it to turn Kong against Godzilla or something.
That'll be it, yeah.
That'll be the Lachey's riding an evil Godzilla into the Sydney Opera House finally and destroying it once and for all.
So where some hosts drag the show down, like Alan Cumming is like elevating the show. He's just so fucking good. I don't know how much he's getting paid for this, but it's not enough. He's really good at this. So yeah, I love the show. Trader season 2. It's on Peacock, so fairly
favorite.
accessible.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it's great. So that is my very long-winded rec for today. Diggins, what do you have to rec?
Well, speaking of the great apes, I have a little movie to recommend to all of you. A new movie by the name of Monkey Man. This is the latest continuation of the Hot Dev Summer.
Oh yeah.
Dev Patel's feature film, like directorial debut, because he directed this in addition to co-writing and starring in it. It's a I think it's fair to say a John Wick like of Dev Patel playing a man who was wronged in his youth growing up in India, and now as an adult seeks to revenge himself upon those who have wronged him. I mean, as far as like the like script and plotting of it and whatnot, it's a little loose. There's some parts of it just don't quite add up, and it's not. I don't know. There's like a lot of like little niggling problems with it, I think, that are very like first time director problems. But that being said, I think it's incredibly stylish. I love the visual like style that Dev Patel's going for with it. And the action choreography is great. So like when he gets into big fight scenes, like those are really cool, which is a big part of the movie. So I think overall it's one of the more successful of these John Wick likes. And I had a good time with it.
Do you think if we could teach his karate or whatever to Monkey Man or to King Kong, because of their monkey friendships, Monkey Man and King Kong, that would be pretty cool. You know, this is the kind of martial arts that King Kong needs to learn to fight Godzilla.
Yeah, I think by the end of the movie, the sort of fighting that Dev Patel has learned to do, the way he's kind of learned to channel his rage, I think would be a great fit for Kong.
Nice. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
What about you, Nando? Do you have anything to rec?
Sure. I have two things. The first of them is my the book club book for this month was a Godzilla book. It was a comic called Godzilla: The Half-Century War by James Stocco or Stucco. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. It's pretty fun. It's like about a guy who, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but like Spider-Man Life Story was this kind of comic that over the course of 6 issues followed Spider-Man from like when he was created in the 60s to the modern day, as if he grew up and experienced all the Spider-Man stories of that time when they happened. So like in the 90s, he does Clone Saga. In the 2000s, he does Civil War and stuff. But he's a 60-year-old man. But anyway, they did that with this, where there's a guy who goes in, like, first Godzilla attack, he is in the army and he fights Godzilla a little bit. And then he just kind of keeps going and keeps seeing Godzilla. And then Space Godzilla shows up, for example. Mecha Godzilla becomes a part of it. I think it was pretty cool. I like the art. Very reminiscent of like Daniel Ward Johnson and some of those other artists who are very popular now, like Maria Wolf, who have that kind of bold style. I also really like the colors, very orange and red, and like I don't know. It's an interesting color palette. I think it's definitely not like the deepest book, but it's pretty fun, and it gives you a good sense for what Godzilla's deal is and what some of his friends and enemies are. I think we talked about this in book club, but like if they could have made this into 10 issues instead of 5 or 6 or whatever, that would have probably been better, because there was room to just like look at what the other Godzilla squads, the way it's in the second issue, they kind of get into it, but what they're doing is pretty interesting. So I would say Godzilla Half-Century War, pretty good book. Other thing I watched, speaking of half centuries and centuries even longer than that, I watched that 3 Body Problem show on Netflix, the one by the Benioff and Weiss, those guys we all like.
Love them.
Yeah. Have either of you guys read the book? You're like, you know, kind of the deal. Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, not really either.
It's very complicated and definitely not worth explaining, but basically it's about aliens or something. And like, that's kind of it. And it's about a bunch of people. It takes place over a couple of time periods at least, but not, that's not as important as I kind of expected it to be, mostly in the present. The people in it are fine. It's got a couple Game of Thrones guys. It's got Sam is in it. He's like a nerd or something.
From
whatever.
Moonfall?
Sam from Moonfall. That's right. That's right. He's a nerd in this too. He does not say anything about Elon Musk. It's a bummer because, yeah, you definitely could do that. Who else? There's a couple weird, like, not weird character actors, but like guys that you're like, oh, that's somebody. I recognize him. What is he? Meister Pycelle is in it for a little bit. Like, there's a lot of guys who are from a Game of Thrones thing. I would say the big three people that are like stars, although I feel like I should know who Jovan Adepo is. He feels like he's probably from stuff. Oh, he's in Babylon, a movie that maybe we'll have to watch. But he, and he was in Watchmen. Okay. But
do we know that by now, by the way?
No, I was going to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll
this.
get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the three people you kind of recognize, Benedict Wong, the Wong from Avengers and stuff, is like a cop who's kind of a piece of shit, and he's kind of fun. I like him in that role. I like him being able to be British, like he really is in real life. So that was nice. Isa Gonzalez from Ambula Lance and stuff plays a scientist, and she's fine. She's kind of the main character in the beginning. But like she's, I'd say, probably the most famous person in it. And then Liam Cunningham, so Sir Davos Seaward or whatever that character's name was in Game of Thrones, plays this character that is like an amalgamation of what if James Bond was also the president, kind of, and like it's pretty funny.
Love that.
He doesn't, like, in the beginning he's not that involved, and then he starts being involved, and then by the end, like, the show's almost exclusively about him and decisions he's making, and I like his character doesn't fit at all because he's way too cheesy, and all the rest of these guys are very down to earth, regular people problems, and this guy's from like a cartoon, but he's pretty good, and like it makes me. The choices he's making are pretty crazy, so I like them. I feel like I never see him and stuff, but like I guess he was in that Demeter movie, that Last Voyage of the Demeter movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
What if Dracula
was on a boat? Yeah, because he has boat experience. And overall, I think I've never read the books. I think this covers like maybe one book out of 3 or something like that. I know there's multiple seasons that are going to happen, and there's only 8 episodes. Like it leaves in a very like not cliffhangery spot, but like, you're like, all right, they thought they were being real cute. But I think it's probably worth watching if you're into that sort of thing. I've heard people that like the books mostly enjoy it. I've also heard people say it's really stupid, and I'll agree. But so far, it's better than Benioff and White Game of Thrones because the book's already written, so they can't mess that up. And they make sure that the brightness is high enough on the show that you could see it. And that's really their main 2 problems, as far as I'm concerned.
Nando, please don't underestimate Benioff and Weiss. I'm sure they could still screw up the ending.
That's
They'll
fair.
Find a way.
Yeah, and it's it's interesting. So yeah, I think people watch it. Definitely watch like the first episode, see how you feel. But I do think it takes 2 episodes for the show to like start, for you to like feel what the show is about. Especially because the plot really doesn't kick in until about halfway through. But I enjoyed it. So yeah, one more time on all the recommendations. DJ's was Traitors?
The Traitors season 2 on Peacock.
Diggins was
Monkey Man in theaters.
And I was 3 Body Problem on Netflix, and Godzilla, the Half Century War, the comic book. Next week, what are we doing next week?
We talked about it.
Yeah.
There's a couple things kicked around, so we could do just one of these movies that wins.
True.
I guess let me give an update on that now. Okay, so for the women's tournament, which is over, congratulations to the South Carolina Gamecocks. They won undefeated season, perfect season, which the movie selection off of that is Let Diggins Pick For Me. So,
oh my God.
Diggins, you won.
God.
Yes. Generous listener allowed you to pick the movie. I believe they are on the Discord. I'm not totally sure. I haven't checked, but Diggins, you do get to pick the movie based off the South Carolina Gamecocks winning. So let's go Cox.
Wow.
Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank
and
you
the generous
to
listener.
South Carolina's like historic run 3 losses in 3 years or whatever.
And is this the one that got cheated by the refs, or is that a different team? I can't keep track.
Different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless this was like karma for Iowa, but that's a whole different thing. For the men's game, so it's based on whoever wins, Purdue or UConn, which this is totally irrelevant. Well, not totally irrelevant, but mostly irrelevant because the results will be in hand after we record this pod.
Yeah.
But it'll basically be we do if Purdue has won, it's Ladybug and Cat Noir, or if UConn has won, it's Babylon.
Now, Ladybug and Cat Noir is a show, right? But they have one movie or something.
I think there's a movie on Netflix.
I assume, yeah, they're talking about a movie version that exists.
Yeah, the movie that came out last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie. Yeah, it's that.
Cool.
So yeah,
did either of you guys have any idea what that is?
It's like a kid show, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the show. I've never really watched it.
I think it's like kind of popular among the TikTok generation and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also not super familiar with it.
I mean, I would rather watch that than Babylon for a few reasons.
Yeah.
I've already seen Babylon, and I really don't want to watch it again.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
I think I would be interested in Ladybug and Cat Noir, like conceptually. Like, let's see what's going on here. But again, irrelevant because the result is already in hand. But
it'll be like that macadamia episode we did, where we'll all just be like, I don't really understand why this is happening.
I talked about this on Discord. That podcast got me into macadamia. Like, I'm on season 5 right now.
Well,
like, I wish I had this knowledge going in.
Maybe this one will get you into Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Can you imagine?
Something's gotta eventually, right? Like,
well, if Jackson ever falls in love with it, right?
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
Yeah. But so we could do one of those, or I mentioned on the Discord maybe a
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes lead up. We could do the Tim Burton one, could be fun. But we'll talk, and I guess if you have strong thoughts, guys, put on the Discord. I don't think we're gonna do Monkey Man. I know that was Floyd, but I just don't think it's for us.
Unless we want to tackle the deep political or not problems, but like complicated themes of that movie. Diggins, you feel confident enough that you could do that properly?
I mean, I would say most of the politics boil down to that Dev Patel thinks Narendra Modi is bad, and I'm willing to sign on that one.
Oh, okay. I've heard different things about it, but I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know what.
I have a feeling there's a late game thing that is maybe more complex in what it says about Indian society and politics, but the big marquee thing is Narendra Modi's pretty bad, guys.
It's good to know.
Okay.
That should be how all these movies start. Just John Wick loads his gun and picks one politician, then he's like, I don't like this person, by the way. And then doesn't go do anything to them, but just tells the audience, like,
yeah.
Speaking of Ted Cruz, not a fan. All right, let's go do a
John
Wick movie.
I would say that is not the direction that Monkey Man goes.
Oh, Ted Cruz is in it and he's a fan? I like that. Now you got me. Ted Cruz from Lady Ballers, that classic actor we all know and love.
Uh-huh.
All right. So yeah, I think those are good options. Any of those are fun. And congratulations. Do we know the name of the person who gave Diggins the thing? Was it? Did we say this already?
I'm trying to look on the Discord right now.
Well, but also, like, don't they have a name in addition to their team name?
Right.
No, it's like, no, you literally just see that this is why it's been such a problem in the past that we needed them to be the movie. Like, the entire name of the thing is like, Diggins can pick for me.
Yeah.
I have no other information. So, yeah.
Well, whoever you are, brave listener, know that I will take your sacrifice and make sure to cause the maximum amount of suffering possible.
I can't wait. But before that, do you guys want to plug some stuff? DJ, do you have anything to plug?
Just check out Roses and Rejections on the Pop Break TV feed, where for this episode, we will be breaking down the Trader Season 2, episodes 1 through 6, I think. So if you want my further thoughts on that, just check us out on the Pop Break feed. Diggins?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
I put out some videos. I don't know when the time, like when this has happened, but I finished my In Defense of the DCEU videos and like breaking down those. So I'm done. I'll never think about this franchise again. Hooray. But you can watch all of them now. And then I have a video on Nebula right now that'll be on YouTube eventually. That is my movies that I liked, because I didn't make one of these videos from 2023. But I tried to pick movies that weren't on everybody's list. So I think I got some interesting ones. People that listen to the podcast will probably recognize a couple of them as movies that we've either covered or just talked about as things we liked. So that video is fun. But besides that, I don't know when the next thing will be out. So we will see. Yeah, I think that would be it. So any update on the person's name or whoever it was?
No, apologies.
We'll figure it out by next week.
Yeah.
And until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter. Oh, wait. The fundraiser thing. We should probably talk about that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I knew we were forgetting something.
April 19th at a time that we will decide at some point. We are doing a fundraiser for Heal Palestine, an organization that not only provides immediate aid for Palestinian children, but also invests in education, healthcare, and just other opportunities to try to improve the lives of Palestinian children long term, in addition to short term immediate aid. So we will be doing that by doing a live watch of Theodore Rex, an infamously terrible movie about Whoopi Goldberg being a buddy cop with a anthropomorphic T-Rex.
Yeah, she had to be sued into doing it by the company that made it because that was her contract or something.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do it that much that they were like, we'll send you to jail for life if you don't like Theodore Rex or something like that.
I think it was that the breach of contract, like the fee that she would have to pay to get out of it was so high it would have bankrupted her.
And then she would have had to go right to debtor's prison, which we have in America probably, and definitely did in the 90s. Or she would have had to make Eddie 2 or something. I don't know. What was she up to? Another ghost movie? You ever seen Eddie, DJ?
No, but I'm very familiar with Eddie as a Knicks fan.
I've seen Eddie. It's kind of fun. I didn't hate it. The villain of Eddie is weird. It's funny that this character is the villain of Eddie, even though he's not James Dolan, and he's not a James Dolan type, but he's just like him. Like, it's like if Eddie takes place in Texas. They just decided anyway, it's fine. But where are we going with this? Yeah, so Theodore Rex is a real weird movie. A movie that, I hope this never changes, you can find on YouTube in its entirety. So you can watch it along with us without even having to have like a streaming service or something. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that whoever the copyright holder is, they don't want to admit that they're the copyright holder long enough to make the claim.
Yeah. And that's great. Benefits us. And then maybe afterwards we'll do like Q&A or play a game or something like that, But definitely that is the main event. So we'll post stuff about that in the Discord and everything, but keep your calendars open. And also, like, if you're not there for it, it stays up so you can watch it later. But you'll want to be there live so you can watch us with you go like, wait, the dinosaur is doing what? It's got a penis. We learned.
Not promising that either of these things will happen, but at previous one of these, we've let people who donated a certain amount of money pick movies for the future.
Yeah.
One of them, I said not promising anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
still haven't done Johnny's Taquino.
It's coming up. This is what I told.
Maybe that's what we'll do this week.
We're waiting for. They're gonna reboot it probably in the future. We probably want to wait until the reboot shows up, like Percy Jackson. I'm sure they're getting to it all right soon. There probably is a Johnny's Taquino movie coming out like this year or something.
I think there was also some people who donated money to make us sing Skimbleshanks.
Yeah, I can't remember that too. I remember. I have weird like I don't go back and watch those, but I kind of remember that as it was happening.
So if you're there live, stuff like that might happen. Who can say?
Yeah,
maybe you can see my cat. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure there would be some cat time in it.
Yeah,
unless the Theodore Rex scares him away, which is possible.
True. That's very possible.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But you've got a week or so, everybody, to prepare.
Yeah.
And don't watch Theodore Rex until you're watching it at the same time as us. It'll be more fun that way.
Let's all experience this
because we have not seen it.
None of us have seen that movie.
Yeah,
we're all going to be surprised.
Yeah, I watched 5 minutes of it and we have to do this live because of the things I saw, but I did not go further. So yeah, and then until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I've at Sippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye. Love you.